Okay. I'd ask everybody to rise and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please stay standing. I'm going to have a moment of silence for past public officials. Dolores Bowler, she was treasurer from 1974 to 1977 and library trustee from 1977 to 1992. And for Charlie Lewis, board registrars of voters, 2003 to 2010. Please take a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Now I'll have the clerk read the charge.
Town of Ayer Annual Town Meeting Warrant, Ayer Shirley Regional High School Auditorium, 141 Washington Street, Ayer, Mass. 01432, May 9th, 2016, 7 p.m. Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Middlesex County. Greetings. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are hereby directed to notify and warn the inhabitants of the town of Ayer qualified to vote in town elections and affairs to meet at the auditorium in the Ayer Shirley Regional High School located at 141 Washington Street, Ayer, Massachusetts, on Monday, the 9th day of May, 2016, at 7 o'clock in the evening. Then and there to act on the following articles. Hereof fail not and make due warrant return of this warrant with your doings thereof to the town clerk before the date appointed for said meeting. Given under our hands this 19th day of April AD 2016. Janice Livingston, Chairman. Gary Luca, Vice Chairman. Christopher R. Hillman, Clerk. Ayer Board of Selectmen.
Do the return. Do return.
As directed in the foregoing warrant, I have this day posted 3 attested copies in 3 public places, one of which was the town hall at least 14 days before said meeting, all as herein directed. Constable Richard Scotchless, April 25th, 2016.
Thank you. Okay, let's get going. Article 2. Article 1 is the elections as were held in April. Article 2 is to pay prior year's bills. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the following amounts to pay the unpaid bills for fiscal year 2015 as authorized under General Laws, Chapter 44, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Luca.
Good evening, everybody. I move that the town vote to pay the prior year bill and available funds in a total amount of $2,954.35 as outlined in the warrant and read by the moderator.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor? Aye. Those opposed? It is unanimous vote, therefore it is a 4/5 vote. The motion is passed. Article 3, salaries of elected officials. To see if the town will vote to fix the salary and compensation of elected officials for the town of Ayer as provided by Section 108, Chapter 41 of the General Laws as amended, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto. Moderator, $500. Chairman, Selectman Chair, $2,506. Selectmen members, $2,235. Assessors, $2,480. Assessors member, $2,210. Treasurer, $71,364.96. Town clerk, $32,106.13. Tax collector, $39,240.83. Tree warden, $5,960.
Mr. Moderator,
Mr. Hillman.
I move that the town vote to fix the salaries and compensation of elected officials as read by the moderator.
Is there a second? Second. Mr. Luca.
Mr. Moderator,
Mr. Luca.
I'd like to make an amendment on the treasurer's salary from $71,346.96 to $39,240.83.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded to reduce the treasurer's salary from $71,346.96 to $39,240.83. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Oh, sorry. Somebody wishes to speak, okay. I'm going to ask everybody also, when you get to the mic tonight, please state your name clearly so the clerk can make sure she records the right person.
My name is Lee DeLuca, 5 Pingree Way, and I would just like to ask why this is being proposed.
Mr. Luca.
The salary, the current treasurer just elected is also our treasurer is also the tax collector. The amount of work that's done in that treasurer's office is diminished quite a bit. So we found going with a job description that we have that when we did our non-union compensation plan, it fits more for a treasurer collector being in that position, receiving that pay.
So then, have we potentially been well overpaying our treasurer all these years?
In my opinion, yes, but others, not necessarily.
Okay.
And
It's a town meeting vote. Town meeting votes for elected officials, and they vote for the salaries.
okay, and is it appropriate at this point or a later point to understand why most employees might only be getting a 2% raise, but these 3 positions are at a 4.52% increase?
Well, I don't,
Is that appropriate at this time?
steps. There's steps involved with those positions because they're in a grid that has steps. The
But I
two-
thought town meeting voted the salary, so I don't understand where the steps come in.
Well, they're still slotted in at a certain spot. So we do slot them in and set the salaries. Town meeting can decrease them, can increase them.
Okay, so based on your proposal, depending upon what people vote, then I would imagine that 4.52% gets crossed out for the treasurer since the salary is completely changed and different?
Well, it would be set at what I amended it to, and it would be slotted into that grid where it is.
Right, but the 4.52% would no longer apply depending upon what people are about to vote
Right, that's
with
the-
regard to your amendment?
Right, that's correct.
Any further discussion?
John Cadigan, 203 Autumn Ridge Drive.
Hi, John.
In the report of the Finance Committee, they recommended no, steps should not be included. Could we have a discussion of that and so that we can better understand it?
Scott?
Mr. Hood.
The elected positions were part of the non-union compensation study, and they were placed on the grid where their salaries landed. It's the opinion of the Finance Committee that they are not officially in the grid, though their salaries landed there, so therefore the increase for this fiscal year should just be the 2% over last year, which is what the elected officials requested in their budget submissions to the Finance Committee and to the administration.
Any further discussion?
Yes. Betty Ann Matozzo, Norwood Avenue. I have a question. When was the last time these people got a raise? Was it last year?
Who in particular?
Well, the treasurer, town clerk, tax collector, tree warden. Did they get raises last year?
Yeah. Robert?
Mr. Moderator?
Mr. Hood.
Yes, these positions did get a raise last year. I believe it was the 2% COLA that went to the other non-union employees.
Did they get raises the year before?
I believe they did, yes.
And the year before that? So why are they getting a raise again this year? Is it just automatic?
It's a recommendation as a possibility.
It's a recommendation,
As a-
so it's an automatic recommendation that they get a raise
No,
each year?
final vote is town meeting, to be honest.
Mr. Moderator,
Mr. Pomprian.
through you to town meeting, just to clarify, as mentioned on this article, as in your warrant, the town meeting, meaning you, sets these salaries of the elected officials per Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 108. The article's been moved and seconded. On the treasurer, the amendment reduces the amount from $71,000 down to the $39,240.83. Looking at that as a 20-hour-a-week position, as mentioned by Selectman Luca. On the town clerk and tax collector lines, the percent of change, which was put in your warrant, and the asterisks show that the FY 2017 salary recommendation per the town's non-union compensation plan, ultimately by law, you set these salaries. At the last town meeting, you approved a non-union compensation plan. As part of that compensation plan, the position of town clerk and tax collector was assigned to that grid. And so in that grid, there is about a 2.5% step increase for the year. The additional 2% is for a cost of living, which the 2% is going to be debated again under Article 7, which is the omnibus for all positions. The cost of living recommendation was made by the Personnel Board, has recommended 2%, the Finance Committee has recommended 1%, and the Board of Selectmen has recommended 2%. So that will be a debate. It's sort of a little backwards that this article is before, but it's for the setting of the salaries. So ultimately, town meeting can set these salaries, has the authority to set them at whatever town meeting decides. But that was the guidance put in the warrant. And on the tree warden, the 2% is going along the lines of a 2% COLA. But town meeting would be within its legal authority not to grant that 2% or to grant a different number.
So that means if town meeting votes no,
Okay.
none of them will get a raise.
Okay, hold it, excuse me, I need to stop this right now.
Okay.
The motion on the floor is to amend the treasurer's. We didn't vote on it yet. The lady had not spoken yet. I put it to vote and realized that somebody had not debated yet, so the vote has not been taken on the amendment reducing the salary yet.
Okay.
That is the only debate going on right now, is whether or not to amend the treasurer's salary.
Okay.
Okay? Is there any further discussion on the amendment? There being none. All in favor of reducing the treasurer's salary, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Now the debate is on the main motion.
So back to my question. Town meeting could vote tonight to say no, no one gets a raise.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir.
Mr. Moderator, Ernie Gurdon, 142 Sandy Pond Road. This 2%, I know it's here in a couple of places, really leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It really does. For many reasons. Well, for one, the Consumer Price Index isn't even 1, and I can't understand how they came up with 2%. Rounding, I believe it was like 0.7 something, and I cannot understand why they're doing this. I'm voting against the 2% for this and further on, because our town employees get paid very well. The benefits are good, they get cost of living, there's lots of steps. If they reach their final steps, then they just add more steps on some other way. So this 2% really leaves a bad taste, and this is really going to hurt the town down the road. All of these 1% extras, 2%, because come 3-5 years from now, this is going to add up to a lot of money, a really lot of money. People retired and everything else. So I'm recommending that people think about this before they vote too much in, because the town is really spending too much money and there's too many projects, and all these things are going to have us go for a big override within 2 or 3 years, I'm almost sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
I want a clarification that all our union contracts, most of them are 3 years, and they all have 2% in them for 3 years, 2% each year. I'm not one, and people have been at town meeting know, I'm not one to treat people differently. If you're going to give it to one group, you need to give it to another group. And with that, as far as non-union people, there are what, 12? 12 non-union people that this 2% versus the 1% is in favor of, so just a clarification.
Thank you. Ma'am.
Lori Nearing on Highland Avenue. Another point of clarification, if we're increasing the COLA by 2%, are we also increasing teachers' salaries by the same allocation, the same overall 4.5%?
It's not, no, it's not. The Ayer Shirley Regional School District is a separate budget. They handle their own salary and costs on their own, then it comes to us as an assessment. So this is completely independent of the school district itself.
And, Mr. Moderator, seeking further clarification, because the staff is so small, you said 12 people roughly, we're feeling comfortable increasing a small percentage, but we're not increasing the teacher's salary necessarily by the same percentage?
Actually, the teacher's salary does not come before town meeting. It's strictly the purview of the Ayer Shirley Regional School Committee. They negotiate with the teachers, and they come up with a bill that they submit to both to Ayer and Shirley. We do not have the authority to look into that. We can just say yes or no on that assessment.
In order for us to be equitable across all members who are working for our town, could I ask somebody from the school committee?
Actually, right now, it's on whether or not we're voting on these salaries. No other salaries are up for debate at this point.
My hope is to be equitable to all.
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
To bring the teachers' salaries into it at this point is actually not germane to the motion at hand.
Okay. I'm just wondering how I can be equitable if I don't know what the teacher's salary increase is.
The teacher's salary is not up to town meeting. It's not set by town meeting. Okay. Is there any further discussion? There being none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? In my opinion, the ayes have it. The motion is passed. Article 4. Oh, correction. Yeah, Article 4. Contract funding for DPW union contract. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds a sum of money to fund the first-year cost items contained in the contract between the Town of Ayer DPW, ASME 93, Local 1703, which has a term of July 1, 2016 through June 30th, 2019, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator?
Ms. Livingston.
I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the monies required to fund the collective bargaining agreement between the town and the DPW union, ASME 93/Local 1703, as read by the moderator.
Is there a second? And moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is adopted. Article 5. The article here will be written, shown on the screen here. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds a sum of money or to fund the first-year cost items contained in the contract between the Town and Fire Union, which has a term of July 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2019, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Luca.
I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the monies required to fund the collective bargaining agreement between the town and the fire union, IAFF 2544, as read by the moderator and shown on the screen.
Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The article passes. Article 6 is, it passed. It's not, they are not completed the negotiations yet, so we'll not be voting on it tonight. Okay, Article 7, the fun one. This is the omnibus article. And given previous years, tradition here has been we go through each item. If you wish to object to it, just say pass, and we'll come back to it at the end, after we've gone through over all the other articles. Where is it, please? Okay, there we go. Oh, there.
Mr. Moderator?
Mr. Hood. Mr. Hood. Would you like to do a presentation? I just asked, you said you want, okay.
Okay.
The Finance Committee would like to give a presentation before we vote on this article. Oh, the town accountant will also go follow a brief report after the Finance Commission.
This one working? All right, thank you very much. I'm Scott Hood of the Finance Committee. A quick presentation on the budget. Is that better? All right. So one of the things that we wanted to do first was do a quick, just kind of explain the process of the budgeting. So first, in January 2016, the departments submit their budget request for FY17. And then in April 2016, last month, the budget was approved for annual town meeting based upon the estimated FY17 revenue projections. Then we're here tonight to annual town meeting to approve the omnibus and also the raise articles within the warrant. And then in the fall, we'll have a special town meeting which may approve also some more raise articles other than the ones we do this evening. And all those come down to December, is the FY17 tax classification hearing in which the tax rates are set for the rest of the fiscal year. And I just want to note, taxes account for approximately 85% of the overall revenue in town. And then in January, we start the fund process all over again. So just to kind of give you a baseline of what happens within your taxes over the two town meetings, or what can happen. So if we look at FY16 as a baseline of just say $1 million and your tax rate is $100, if the operating budget increases by 3% only, and then the spring and fall raise articles are the same amount that they were in FY16, it's about a 2.85% increase on the tax rate. And you can see Q1 and 2 are based upon the FY16 rates, and then Q3 and 4 of FY17 are based upon the new rates. If we have a scenario where the operating budget increases by 3%, and then in the fall we also raise an additional $10,000 for the raise articles, the cumulative effect on the tax rate is 3.85% because we have to raise money for the fall raise articles. And then finally, if we have a 4% increase to the operating budget and also an additional increase to the raise articles in the fall, it's a 4.8% increase. So just want to kind of put it out there, just the total impact across the entire calendar year impacts the taxes for the fiscal year. So quickly onto the budget, and I'll admit she's a big budget. She's a big one. The only way to describe it, there's a lot of requests, but I think some of those requests have been justified, but it's ultimately up to town meeting to approve those. So revenue is up about 4.2% over last year, and these numbers are actually without free cash included. The omnibus budget itself is a 5.84 increase. A lot of that increase is related to the new positions that are being requested within the budget. Total expenditures without free cash spending, so this is the UDAG, replenishment, stabilization, OPEB, et cetera, is 4.62% over last year. And then our overall is about 4.2% over last year. That includes all the free cash spending. And then we're putting some money into stabilization, capital stabilization, and also the GASB 45 OPEB liability. So within the budget, the Board of Selectmen and Finance Committee agree probably 99, 98% of the way there. One thing is the COLA. So the Personnel Board and the Board of Selectmen have presented the budget in the warrant article with a 2% COLA based upon what's been offered to the union employees. The Finance Committee is recommending a 1% based upon the Consumer Price Index, which is about 0.8% depending on where you look. The FY16 recommendation from the Personnel Board for the non-union employee COLA was based upon CPI, and I was a sitting member of the Personnel Board at that point. And one thing that is clear, I think we need to just establish a process that's consistent methodology each year across all the boards. On the management support line, there was a move of $7,700 from building inspection to the management support line, plus an additional $32,000 to fund the position. And I apologize, I didn't get a chance to go back and finish my presentation. This position will cover things like the planning board and building inspection. In the library line, the library is requesting a new position for an assistant children's librarian, the cost of $31,200. In the meeting we had with the library back in February, the trustees said that if the requested budget was approved, it should enable longer hours, and we'll ask them tonight to speak to whether that still holds true. On the police department, this is a big chunk of the increase, though Chief Murray did an excellent job, and actually the rest of the police force all showed up to kind of walk us through what their daily life is and what their obligations are. They're looking for 2 additional dispatchers and 2 additional patrolmen. The dispatcher salary cost is about $38,825 for each salary, with a total of $77,650. The Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen both unanimously support funding both dispatcher positions. The patrolman salary and the contract cost is $60,173 for a total impact of $120,346. The Finance Committee recommends a single patrolman due to sustainability concerns, and the Board of Selectmen have recommended 2 patrolmen, which is in the warrant as presented. Thank you.
And Lisa Gabri, Town Accountant.
All right, you gotta lift it up a little bit sometimes.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, back up. It's working.
Okay,
It's working.
Cindy, you got this. Okay. So in the back, when you first came in, you should have seen a financial packet that looks kind of like this, same stuff that I usually put in it. In the beginning, we'll be going through, I'm just going to walk through a very short presentation on revenue projections for this year. But in the back, you'll see a large print of the omnibus that we'll be discussing later. And in the very back, you'll see some budget information, additional budget information on each of the enterprise funds, as well as some debt service information. So let me just see. Yeah. See if I can figure this out. Which way? Ow. Right there. That one? Okay. So this is a quick snapshot of the budget for this year. So you see all the revenues on the left and the expenses and savings, or funding for savings, on the right. And we do have a balanced budget. This is very important. And I'll walk you through some of the revenue projections further into this slide, but I want you to notice that the big, as Scott alluded to, the biggest impact is probably the 4 new positions for the police department. And the increase in the assessment, of course, for the school district, and Middlesex retirement assessment, $86,000, and health and life insurance of $69,000. Even though our premiums stayed level, no increase, or in some cases decreased, this is the impact of the new positions being proposed. Okay. And we have, I like to think it's a very balanced budget, because we have, you'll see, we have $1 million that we're estimating that we will not, is unused levy capacity, so we will not be, we'll sort of be helping out the taxpayers, if you will, because we could actually raise up to that amount, and we're not, we choose not to. Also, we're funding all of our operating expenses, and as well as putting a good amount into stabilization in our future liabilities, that being OPEB. So right into the revenue projections. For 2017, you see this house aid went up a little bit, although we're still pretty far behind. Let me see. still $200,000 short of what the cuts were in 2009. So they have not made up for that. You hear that at schools at times with Chapter 70 money. Same thing with the towns. Unrestricted aid has not been fully restored from the state. So that leaves it on the backs of the taxpayers, of course. The next line, taxes, I'm going to go a little bit further into that. That's all the taxes, including debt exclusions that were passed in previous years. Local receipts going up about $94,000. Free cash is certified by the state at $1.3 million. Other revenue, $120. So it brings us a total revenues of almost $26 million. And then there's charges such as MBTA charge and MRTA charges, mosquito control. These are state assessments. That's what the other charges are. And the overlay account from the taxes. So, next. This is a breakdown of the taxes. So you see we start with the base from the previous year, and we roll in a statutory limit of 2.5%. And then there's new growth that the assessors tell us about when they're estimating about $300,000 this year. And then there's that unused levy capacity of $1 million. And then the debt overrides, and of course the school debt override as well. So it brings us to a total of about $22 million. These are the charges, the cherry sheet charges, the overlay account. You will notice that we don't have the appropriation deficit that we had last year. That's the snow and ice overspending from last year. Luckily, we didn't have that same issue this year. So we're right into the omnibus budget. I don't know if you're going to run this one, Cindy. Does anyone have any questions? Good. Yes?
Mr. Curran, could you please stand up and listen from the microphone?
Dennis Curran, what is OPEB?
OPEB, other post-employment benefits. Basically, it's health insurance for retirees. So we are building a fund, if you will, to help provide a source of future funding for our retirees.
Any further
Is that?
questions? Thank you, Lisa.
Okay.
Okay, get started. Selectmen, $219,691. Town Council, $115,000. Pass. Town Clerk, $81,708. Moderator, $500. Parking tickets, $1,000. Public buildings, $314,851. Registrations and elections, $17,096. Postage, $19,000. American Legion, $600. Memorial Day, $2,000. Fourth of July celebration, $10,000. Holiday lights, $10,000. Communications Committee, $700. Personnel Board, $500. Accountant, $180,809. Payroll and benefits, $67,466. Computer support, $982.
47,000.
Correction, no. Sorry. Getting ahead of myself. $47,982. Assessors, $179,735. Collector, $96,353. Treasurer, $78,306. Health and life insurance, $1,498,072. Property and liability insurance, $125,484. Workman's comp, $46,328. Police and fire accident, $185,359. Unemployment compensation, $40,000. Retirement, $1,429,400. $491. Debt principal, $947,900. Debt interest, $177,459. Tax title, $8,000. FICA Medicare, $100,000. Finance Commission, $500. Reserve Fund, $100,000. Police Department, $2,410,515. Fire Department, $1,556,553. Building Inspector, $81,983. Emergency Management, $12,500. Animal Control, $13,425. Animal Inspector, $2,600. Game Warden, $44,460. Tree Warden, Game Warden, wow. Tree Warden. Okay, I don't walk on water, folks.
I'm just disappointed.
Public Works, $1,074,755. Snow and ice removal, $262,287. Street lighting, $64,000. Care of graves, $2,500. Council on Aging, $130,757. Neshoba Board of Health, $17,393. Neshoba Board of Health, first one's Board of Health, this is Neshoba Board of Health, $25,440. Parks, $134,587. Pop Warner, $4,000. Little League, $4,000. Veterans Agent, $19,202. Veterans Benefits, $125,000. Library, $561,676. Disabilities, $700. Conservation Commission, $26,293. Economic and Communities Development, $34,296. Historic Commission, $750. MRPC, as Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission, $2,332. Management Support, $48,965. Information Technology, $134,583. Okay, so now we go back to the ones that were passed. First one, Town Council for $115,000. Mr. Maxon.
Frank Maxon of William Street. I move that we amend this article by striking out the amount published in the warrant, which I'm reading, if I'm reading correctly, it's $118,301, and put in its place $1.
Do you have that in writing, sir?
I can give it to you very quickly.
And before we get that far, is there a second to this motion? Well, as soon as he gives it to me, I will. He basically wants to strike out the amount put in the omnibus article and replace it with the $1 for town council services. It's been moved and seconded to amend the amount from $115,000 to $1. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Maxon.
But first, I need to check with your opinion of what is appropriate to be said, because I've been misunderstanding you up to now. But
just stick to the facts and don't...
Okay. If we're discussing what we're going to pay somebody for something, is it appropriate to discuss the quality of service we've been getting and what we've been getting in terms of results? For
as long as you state it as your opinion and you don't cast aspersions on anybody's reputation.
Okay, thank you. This says several times, first I'll go back maybe 12, 13 years when I was selectman. This was the same town council, and we were trying to protect the aquifer where the railroad underloading facility is now. We were forced, in the final analysis, to sign a consent decree that gave us no protection at all, except what the railroad decided they'd give us out of the goodness of their heart. And the result was the town council was not able to mount any type of legal argument that had any weight, and we were just basically forced to do what the railroad wanted. More recently, town council helped us write a bylaw to protect our citizens from sexual offenders. Some of us were saying, this is way too overreaching, it won't fly, it's going to be knocked down. No, we went ahead and tried it that way, and sure enough, it was knocked down along with several others that town council had patterned it after, in the case from Lynn. At our most recent town meeting, I was referring to that as it being the fate of another article we were talking about then to protect us from messes and so on. And I said at that point, we're going down the same primrose path here, this article will be far too overreaching and won't stand. The Attorney General's deadline for passing on that article, once we pass an article, the Attorney General has to, bylaw has to approve or disapprove or make comments about it. The deadline was mid-April, early April. And we've got back an answer from the Attorney General, but it's not an approval, it's a lot more questions. So whatever amount of money we spent to try to protect our aquifer was wasted. Whatever money we spent to try to protect our citizens from sexual offenders was wasted. We got nothing. And what we have now from this one is, so far, a whole much more questions which have to be answered at more expense, more debate perhaps on town meeting floor and so on, and basically nothing. We're getting nothing for the
Frank, hold on a
work.
moment.
Yes.
Mr. Livingston, bring up a point of order.
Yes.
Ms. Livingston.
I'm not exactly sure where he's going with this, Mr. Moderator, but if you reduce the town council budget to $1... Oh, I'm sorry.
A point of order means that I have made a ruling or I have not made a ruling, and you're calling me to do so. You cannot make an argument while making a point of order.
My apologies.
Okay, thank you. And so far, actually, Frank's stuck to the straight and narrow on this one. So.
Thank you,
so
Mr.
far.
One of us has to get a haircut or shave or something. But at any rate, to answer that particular concern, if I may, the money can be parked in on the reserve fund and used for effective town council services and as an as needed basis through the financial officers of the town, the Board of Selectmen, and the advisory financial board. I see Scott is shaking his head, but we've done similar things in the past. So my argument is this town, my town of Ayer, deserves a whole lot better in terms of our legal services and the bang for the buck that we're getting for them. I believe we can get them readily, easily. All you has to do is read one of the municipal magazines, and there's classified ads for town council who hopefully would do better than this one. And we certainly, I don't believe she could do much worse. So I think if we...
Hey, you're going there, Frank. That's crossing the line, okay?
I guess I couldn't keep them straight and narrow.
Okay.
So...
are you going to wrap this up soon?
Yes.
Okay.
By saying that...
You're repeating yourself now.
Okay. That, well then, I've said apparently what I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Mr. Moderator?
Ms. Livingston.
Just do some quick clarifications. The sex offender bylaw that Mr. Maxon was talking about was actually not overturned in the town of Ayer. It was overturned in the city of Lynn. The state of Massachusetts then said everybody in the state of Massachusetts put a hold on it. So our town council actually didn't do anything wrong. If the Board of Selectmen select the town council, and believe me, we have talked about and always looked at other town council, and we've been very happy with the services that they've given us. If you reduce the budget for town council to $1, basically what you're doing is you're giving your town government opportunity to just go willy-nilly without any guidance whatsoever. So I just wanted to clear up a little thing. But nobody has proven that our town council has done wrong. As with any lawyer, if they go into a courtroom, they fight their argument, and it all plays out in front of a judge and a jury, depending on the scenario, and they're who chooses who wins or loses. But our town council hasn't done anything wrong, and if you reduce it to $1, you're going to have nothing.
Mr. Moderator?
Mr. Bresnahan.
Kevin Bresnahan, 4 Wachusett Ave East. Personally, I think our town council should be commended for trying to protect our town and our family and our children from sex offenders, not reprimanded. And I would like to move to vote.
On the amendment, correct?
On the amendment, that's correct.
Is there a second to the motion to move the question? Okay. All those in favor of moving the question, please stand, or please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. No. And the ayes of the moderator, 2/3 having said aye, the question is moved. We immediately go to the question, whether to reduce the town council's budget from $115,000 to $1. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. No. The amendment is not adopted. Okay. Any further discussion on town council's budget? There being none, we'll go to the next item passed. Holiday lights for $10,000.
Mr. Moderator, Lori Nearing.
Lori Nearing.
This is a new item, and I was hoping that somebody could explain why we are putting $10,000 into lights.
Actually, if you'd been at the fall town meeting, it was adopted then to create an account for $10,000 for holiday lights.
It was already adopted?
Yes, and this is just the annual appropriation at this point.
Okay. And then I guess I'm not clear, why does it say 100% increase?
Because it's brand new.
Mr. Moderator, through you to Ms. Nearing, the holiday lights appropriation for $10,000, as many of you may be aware, several years ago, the town started with the lights down on the Rotary. And last year, the town, it was a couple years ago, the town put together a program to fund the lights on the Rotary, as well as the street lights in the business district, and we also did lights on the town hall for holidays. We're asking, as we did in the fall, as the moderator stated, for $10,000 as the town's portion of that, and then we did an extensive fundraising as well for matching funds for those. So that's the purpose of the request. And we look to hopefully build upon that program. So the $10,000 would be to do the Rotary and the Town Hall and the street lights in the downtown district, and then depending on the success of the fundraising efforts, to further expand that. I know that many have had suggestions to further expand that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion on the holiday lights budget? There being none, we'll move to the next item. Treasurer's salary, treasurer's budget, $78,306.
That was also me.
Lori Nearing.
Thank you. I wondered if this was part of the COBRA 2% increase. The 4.2% increase includes the COBRA. COLA, sorry.
You want to go through me?
It's catchy. Mr. Moderator?
Mr. Luca.
No, it isn't.
So, Mr. Moderator, if is there a different place then to address the 2% COLA?
Actually, that has already been, it's not in here, it's only in the salary. That's already been approved.
Okay, I thought you said to the person over there that there was another place.
I did not. the town administrator said it's also included in the budget later on, but your salary actually has already been approved. It's approved by town meeting.
So we already voted in the
Yes.
4%? Oh, okay, thank you. Then I also had passed on the treasurer, so we can cancel that. for the same
Okay.
reason.
No, I had,
Oh, same question?
no, different question, but Janet Providakis, 1 Brelana Court.
Ms. Provenakis? Okay.
Thanks, Tom. Do you want me to spell it? With regards to the treasurer amount, does that also include the $32,106.13 that we reduced the salary? Does this $78,306 still include that $32,000?
Yes, I do believe that the budget line item still has that full budget allocation that was put forth in the warrant. However, the salary for the treasurer is just what was voted in Article 2.
So really, this should be reduced by the $32,106.
Ms. Moderator, at this time, I'd like to ask the treasurer if she could speak to that, please.
Okay, and the treasurer is also town clerk. So, Mr. Pomprian, we have somebody willing to be town clerk for a few minutes? We have to have a temporary town clerk up here while she speaks.
Mr. Moderator, through you, if there is not objection, Ms. Jane Morris, who's a resident of Ayer, has offered, if you're willing through the body, to serve as the interim clerk.
Is she here? Oh, okay. And it's up to the voters to decide whether to elect her. So I'll put that question to the floor right now. We'll elect
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Temporary town clerk. Yeah.
Hello. Okay.
Susan?
Mr. Moderator, through you.
Mrs. Copeland?
Yeah, so to go back, the budget still includes that $32,000 that was reduced for the salary portion. At this time, to decrease the amount, it was being potentially looked into for additional support staff in the town hall, and that remaining portion would be utilized towards a part-time clerk that would work with accounting, town clerk, tax collector, and so forth. But hasn't been fully vetted yet, so we would be able to come to the October meeting with an actual position, if so. And if nothing comes of that, in the October meeting, reduce that $32,000 completely. So at this time, it's a space holder, I believe is the proper term. Space holder, okay. And if it's, voted by town meeting to just decrease the $32,000 at this time, then we do that as well. So, but at this time, it's looking into a possible support staff. Tentatively, it hasn't been vetted with the personnel board or the union or any of those steps yet, so it is a question mark, but that can be handled right now.
Okay. Then can I make a motion to decrease that $78,306 by the $32,106?
Okay.
So
As given our tradition here, you need to put it in writing. And while she's doing that, there's a second to the motion? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Okay. Mrs. Provenakis.
That wasn't in the quiz. It wasn't.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to reduce the treasurer's, to amend the treasurer's budget by reducing the amount from $78,306 to $46,200. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor? Where? Oh. Okay.
Betty Ann Matolzl, Norwood Avenue. I apologize, there might be a little confusion in my mind, and no question is a bad question. I thought on the first slide, when we had the 2%, 4.52, you guys put a line in red where it went down to 39,000 or something,
Yes.
and you just said 46,000?
No, that's the amount that the whole entire department budget is going down to.
I thought we were just talking about the treasurers.
Not the salary.
I thought we were talking about the
Treasurer's budget. That includes other items, you know, like
Okay.
paper and printing and pens and...
So the $78,306 is not the same amount that was on the first one that you took the red line through?
No, this is on
I
the
swear it said
total budget for the
78,000.
office.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any further discussion? Dan Gleason.
Thanks, Mr. Moderator. Dan Gleason, Howard Street. I would argue that we just leave the money in there. You come back in the fall, if the plan at that point is to put an assistant position in place, we have to now vote the money back in, which is harder. We can always take it back out in the fall if that's not the plan. There'll be a different audience at that time, probably half the size of this crowd. Most won't have benefited from this discussion tonight and won't know what's being discussed in October. I just assume we leave the money in place now and see what the plan is in October.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor of the reduction, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. No. Ooh, this is a two-thirds vote. I'm going to ask for everybody to do a standing count. I'm going to ask for 3 volunteers to do the count. I'm going to ask for Mr. Swanfeld, Mr. Hurley, and Mr. Hurley.
Yeah.
Okay. Town council has just informed me that that is not a two-thirds motion, it's a majority motion. However, it's still too close for me to call, so I'm going to have to count anyway. Okay. Anybody sitting on that bench on the other side of the aisle, it is a non-voting section. If you're sitting there, your vote will not be counted. You need to move into the voting section. Okay, all those in favor of reducing the treasurer's budget as stated, please stand and hold the card. I gave you that. Okay. She usually writes down the votes as I give the votes and you do the other, okay?
What is it?
4 and 17 sections, okay?
Oh. Okay. And okay, this was.
417 is 3 sections, 417 is 22.
Okay.
All those opposed to reducing treasurer's salary, please stand and hold your cards. So you're getting 43 total?
Yeah.
And total this, we need to vote,
okay.
yeah.
29,
63, or 70,
90, 93.
okay.
Wait.
No.
44, 29.
It's easy to do that, I think.
Yeah. 6, 7, 8, 9, 113, right?
Okay. In favor is 43, opposed is 113. The amendment is not agreed to. Now, any further discussion on the treasurer's budget? There being none, we'll go on to the next one. And I'd like to thank Jane for being temporary. What?
Jane Morris.
Jane Morris for being temporary town clerk. She's done a wonderful job. You're welcome. Okay, the next item passed over was the police department budget. Mr. Kern.
Could there be some discussion about the rationale for the increase in the staffing of the police department? Is it arising from population increase within the town? Is it arising from anticipated increase in crime or an existing increase in crime? I mean, what drives the recommendation to hire 2 new police and 2 new dispatchers?
Okay. Chief Murray?
Hello? Mr. Moderator, through you?
Chief Murray.
No, there's been no increase in crime. There's nothing more for you guys to fear. It's basically come down to the fact that we cannot sustain, you heard the sustainability from the FinCom, that they don't think it's sustainable. I can tell you right now, what we do is not sustainable. The crime is the same. It's just, it's more complicated. It takes us longer to do our jobs now. We find ourselves doing more motor vehicle and answering calls rather than being proactive and being in your neighborhood. You know, looking out for you at your homes. And that's really what this is about. I want to have more staffing, and we're just talking about police right now, I'm not talking about dispatchers. Both FinCom and Board of Selectmen think that we need more. It's just a difference of how many more. This year it's only 2. I really need more than that in order to give the town what it deserves. We can stop cars all day long, but that really doesn't give you that feeling of being safe in your homes. And you know, if you read, and I could go through the liturgy or the long list of programs that we have for the town that I presented to the FinCom. I'm not going to bore you with that right here. But the president did a study called 21st Century Policing, and in there are 6 pillars. And of those pillars, 2 are community policing and community outreach. And we just can't do that anymore. We find ourselves just answering calls for service, which means when something happens to you, we come to you and answer your call, or we're stopping cars. And we need to do more than that. We want to do more than that. On the dispatch side, it's a no-brainer. Our dispatchers, they call them police dispatchers. They're no longer police dispatchers. They're police, they're fire, they're DPW. They dispatch everybody. They just happen to be housed in the police department. And with the advent of emergency medical dispatch, which means that when you call 911 with a medical emergency, that dispatcher has to stay on the phone with you for the entire emergency. They have to try to figure out what's wrong with you by using a flip chart and try to help talk you through what's happening to you and until the ambulance arrives. So, you know, imagine a dispatcher on the phone trying to stay with you while trying to dispatch police to your call, while trying to take care of other calls and other calls for service. So that's the reason for the 2 dispatchers. Did I explain the patrolman enough for everybody? I know I went through it kind of quick.
Is there any further discussion? Mr. Cadigan.
Mr. Moderator, John Cadigan, 203 Autumn Ridge Drive. Could we hear input from the FinCom on this particular item?
Mr. Hood.
Sure. So one thing I will say is Chief Murray did a great presentation of the Finance Committee, and like I said, the two dispatchers have our unanimous support. When it comes down to patrolmen, it comes down to sustainability, and from my view of sustainability is actually two things. One is, can we afford it in the budget, and will we be able to afford it 5 years from now? But also from the standpoint of the taxpayers, are we asking too much of the taxpayers in any given fiscal year for an increase on their taxes? And it's nothing against the police or Chief Murray. It's just, the discussions we had was looking more of a phase-in approach with one patrolman this year, looking to add another patrolman next year. Or if there's other savings within the police budget for this fiscal year, that another patrolman can be added within the current within the current budget.
Any further discussion? Mr. Hillman?
Sorry. I reached out to Chief Murray about this subject about 4 weeks ago because I had the similar questions. And the way it was explained to me, and maybe the chief can elaborate, was his focus on getting more police downtown, in the neighborhoods, on their feet, on the bicycles, in the warmer months, interacting with the neighborhoods. Also having somewhat of a dedicated traffic officer to deal with a lot of the neighborhoods that have seen an incredible amount of increased traffic with the amount of growth in Ayer and Shirley and Devens. And I guess I question the sustainability of it if we do one this year and one next year. That still does not change the forecast 5 years from now, as none of us know what's going to happen. I mean, we didn't know in 2008 that the economy was going to crash. John McCain still didn't know it crashed, but it did. However, so it's hard to look that far in the future for something that I think we definitely need, and especially the community outreach. And I think that the school can speak to how well the resource officer has been an asset to not only the police department, but the children at the school. And I think that was a big position we added, I think, 4 years ago, and we've been able to sustain that. A lot of these guys have been working a tremendous amount of overtime to cover shifts, so I'm firmly supporting this after speaking with Chief Murray several times on it, and thank you.
Mr. Moderator, Karen Swanfeld, Park Street. I'm the Executive Director for the Air Council on Aging, and one thing that hasn't been mentioned is we at the Council on Aging have a officer that's a liaison directly to me. And I've had that for many, many years, which gives me the opportunity to be able to pick up the phone and call the station and say, I need a wellness check, or I'm concerned about an individual, or can you please come down here because there's a situation going on. And we now have, I've always had a great relationship with my liaisons, but that's another officer that when I am in trouble at the center, I need to take him, or, well, now it's a him, it was a him and a her, off the street. So you need to realize that between taking care of our children in the school, taking care of the 1,200 plus seniors in our town, and everything else that is going on, I just think that right now, if our budget can support this, and like Mr. Hillman just said, we don't know what the future is going to hold in 4 or 5 years. Right now, we need to take care of our community. We've got a great community. Let's keep it going.
Any further discussion? There being none. Chief.
I just want to add, what am I going to do with these two people? And Mr. Hillman hit it on the head. My goal is to create sort of a traffic unit. That's these two guys, one will go on day shift, one will go on 3 to 11. And let me tell you right now, on any shift, at any time, there are only 2 police officers working. That's all you get on days, 3 to 11, 11 to 7. This will give me 1 more on days, 1 more on 3 to 11. My goal is that 1 officer is going to conduct all the traffic for the town. Those other 2 people are going to be doing the community outreach. They're going to be out in your neighborhoods. They're going to be doing programs with you folks, or if you want them to. If you don't want them to, that's fine. But trying, and we find that more often than not, trying to interact with the community. I mean, you see what's happening across the nation with shootings and all this bad stuff that you hear about police. But it's been found it's because that relationship is not there. Those bridges haven't been built. And we haven't had that opportunity to build those bridges with the people as we have had in the past. So that would be my goal for having these two people.
Yes.
Linda Grant, 38 Cambridge Street.
Ms. Grant.
You know, I care about town safety. I just want to ask about the overtime. How much overtime is there now for the officers?
Right now we spend about $213,000 a year, and that overtime is spent on backfilling positions so officers can have leave time, mostly. That's what we use it for the most of the time. And for training, we do some training. Our training budget isn't what it should be, so it kind of overlaps into overtime.
So $213,000 for overtime. If the two new positions come in, do you anticipate needing less money for overtime?
I wish I could say yes, but the standard we run by right now is what we call a two-man minimum. That's the fewest amount of officers we will allow to work a shift. It can be more than that, but it can't be any less than two. When I get these two new people, I'm going to make it a three-man minimum on day shift and 3 to 11 shift. So the same overtime still applies so that I can keep those three people, just so that I can always have somebody on traffic and always have people in neighborhoods. So it really won't change our overtime that much.
So going back to what the selectman said, that's really not the issue. It's not about the overtime.
No, ma'am, it's not.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Sir? Actually, in order, and if you know you're going to have a question, why don't you move up to the mic right ahead of time while the other person's speaking, okay? That way you don't have to wait for everybody to walk around.
My apologies, Mr. Moderator. My name is Peter Cushing. I'm a town meeting rookie, actually hailing from the city of Lynn originally. So I have a quick question. I'm a civil servant, and OPEB, for those of you who asked earlier, is this massive looming problem.
Stay to the police department budget, please. Stick to the police department budget.
No, that's my question. Is in these increases, has money been set aside looking forward to OPEB to build those accounts in this increase and in other increases in the town budget? Are we being forward-thinking about that rather than being separate? So I guess that would be a FinCom question or whatever, but are we looking to that?
Mr. Hood.
On the OPEB, every 2 years we get an actuarial, I can never say that word, actuarial report that's done that looks at the number of employees that we currently have and the number of employees that are retired and gives us a potential liability and makes recommendations for us to put money aside for that. Currently, in the last 3 or 4 years of the budget, we have been putting aside hundreds of thousands of dollars to go towards that liability, and we'll continue to do that as long as it's viable within the budget going forward.
Mr. Prell.
Chris Prell from Wright Road. I myself am a police officer for the town of Acton. I've been assigned the traffic safety section for the last 15 years. Chief Murray's idea is a splendid one. As I said, I do that day in and day out. It certainly alleviates any of the calls for the patrols, people to handle. And as Chief Murray said, times have changed. Policing has changed. Right now, if you get tied up with a domestic disturbance that leads into an arrest and the person wants a restraining order, those officers are tied up for at least 2 hours. So his idea of the traffic officer is definitely the good person to have there that can take up the slack where the other officers are tied up. It's an excellent idea. It works great in our community. Those officers are dedicated just to that. Traffic complaints, traffic safety, which is a huge thing in any community. So I do urge you to vote yes for this budget. Thank you.
Any further discussion? There being none, Next item passed over, thank you, Chief, was the library budget. Mr. Hood.
On the library, for just a point of discussion, is there a member of the Library Board of Trustees who could speak to the possible correlation of an increased budget and additional hours?
Mrs.
please?
Kelly.
Hi, Penny Kelly, Mr. Moderator, Penny Kelly,
Brendan,
Library
you know that for her?
Trustees.
Brendan,
Better?
you know that for?
The trustees are totally committed to opening more hours, and that's what our budget request reflects, besides the new position.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, being none. Next item passed over was, that was it. Okay. All those in favor of the omnibus article as written in the warrant and discussed at town meeting, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Point of order, Mr.
Oh,
Point of order.
point of order?
Motion has not been moved.
Oh, I thought we won't be meeting, okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Hillman, sorry about that. I thought we did it beforehand.
I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sums of money for the FY 2017 omnibus budget as read by the moderator.
So moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Mr. Moderator?
Mr. Hillman?
I'd like to amend the amount to include what was approved earlier in Article 5, the fire department contract, to $1,600,000. What is it? I can't read. I'm sorry. $1,614,363, and the total omnibus to $12,955,252, which outlines the previously approved fire contract.
Is it seconded? Second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor of the amendment as discussed by Mr. Hillman, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. The amendment is agreed to. Now on the budget as amended. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Budget is passed.
Mr. Moderator?
Mr. Luca.
I want to put a request to the floor to move Articles 36 and 37 to right now.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay. It's been moved and seconded to move Articles number 36 and 37 to out of place and to right now. This is a two-thirds motion. Okay. Is it all those in favor of moving the articles to now? Please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? No. We have two-thirds. Therefore, both articles to take up now. We'll take up 36 right now. To see if the town will vote to acquire by gift, purchase, or eminent domain the fee or lesser interest in certain parcel of land approximately as shown in the concept plan entitled Land in the Town of Ayer, Main Street for land taking, as written in the warrant. Okay.
Oh, did you read it?
I said I read the first part and it says it's written in the warrant.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to acquire by gift, purchase, or eminent domain the fee or lesser interest in 3 certain parcels of land shown as parcels A, B, and C, which will be coming up on a plan entitled Plans of Land of Worthingdale Realty Corp. Access Corridor, to be acquired by the Town of Ayer, Massachusetts, dated May 6, 2016, prepared by Prime AE, said plan on file with the town clerk, consisting of 16,160.8 square feet, more or less, and being a portion of the properties described in a deed recorded with the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds in Book 12135, page 442, Parcel A, a portion of Lot 8 on Land Court Plan 15026F, Parcel B, and a portion of Lot 7 on Land Court Plan 15026E, Parcel C, and as funding therefore and related thereto, to transfer from the UDAG grant account the sum of $195,000, and further to authorize the Board of Selectmen to convey to the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority a perpetual access easement from Main Street to the rail property located southerly of the property to be acquired upon all or a portion of parcels A, B, and C, and to authorize the Board of Selectmen to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate the acquisition of such property and the conveyance of the easement to the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority.
Is there a second? Okay. Any discussion on the matter?
Mr. Moderator?
Ms. Livingston.
So we will have something up here to go into further detail. As you know, the Board of Selectmen took up this vote at our April meeting to pursue eminent domain. I know that sometimes the word taking of disturbs people, but as you can see, they would be paid. If we do this, then the parking lot, the development of that access would then be able to be finally moved forward. This has been something that's been going on for quite some time. One thing to also think about is that in that we move forward, be able to start the construction, which we've missed, what, 3 construction cycles? Lighting, for example, would then be fixed so that the pedestrians crossing the street to get the train, the lighting would be fixed, which means that patrolman that's sitting there in the mornings with his headlights, thank you very much, can now be put someplace else. If you don't do this, then the grant that you're going to see is coming up and everything, that will be gone. And it will be over. So whatever decision you make for this article, that's it. So now if we can look at the slides.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Bonbrand.
Through you to town meeting, just to frame the issue for everybody's benefit as Selectman Livingston outlined. As far as Article 36 is looking for your authorization for the Board of Selectmen to acquire what we call the access property for the construction of the Ayer commuter rail surface lot. So I want to point out on this first slide for everybody's benefit, this is the footprint of the project, and many of you remember in October of 2012, Congresswoman Tsongas presented the town with a $3.2 million earmark grant from the Federal Transit Administration to construct this project. And I want to emphasize where the red is the current rail trail parking lot. This project that we're proposing, which is a total of approximately $4 million, is not a multi-level garage. It is not a multi-tiered structure. It is not a structure that you see, say, in Fitchburg or Leominster. It is a surface lot. The project would expand upon the rail trail lot. You see proposed parking expansion on parcels 1, 2, and 3 along here. Those property owners, that property would be acquired from them at the fair market value plus 15%, which is the FTA requirements. Now, when Congresswoman Tsongas came and presented the earmark to construct this project, we learned very quickly, per the Federal Transit Administration, in order to build this project, you must own the land, the public must own the land all the way to the platform. So here's Main Street, and highlighted in green and in the yellow, this here is what Article 36 is pointing out as what we call the access property. Before we can access the money to build the whole project, and what the whole project consists of is an expansion of the rail trail lot with dedicated parking for the rail trail, lighting improvements. All of this you will also have a role in because it's a whole public design process per the FTA, but we haven't been able to start because we can't access the grant funds until we own the access. Now, the 3.2 million is the federal grant, and you say it's almost 4 million. Where does the rest of the funding come from? I will show you in just a moment. But what Article 36 is proposing that this green, that the town acquire this, authorize the Board of Selectmen to acquire this through eminent domain. Next slide. I may be in the way. Oh, sorry. Okay, so Article 36 is written in the warrant. This shows you the parcel A. This is the actual appraised technical drawing of the access property. The eminent domain for Depot Square Access Corridor, the appraised value is $195,000. If Article 36 passes, it authorizes the Board of Selectmen to take this access parcel, pay the owner the $195,000, which is the appraised value. Upon that, register this plan at the Registry of Deeds, and at that point, the town of Ayer owns the access property. It fulfills the FTA requirement, and we can commence with the project. Now, however, under state law, in terms of eminent domain, from the date of it being filed, the property owner, by law, has up to 3 years from that date to challenge the town in terms of the appraised value. And that is something that the Board of Selectmen, and they can tell you tonight, in their calculations in moving forward with this, have taken that into account. So, though it's authorized, if it's authorized by town meeting, and the property is acquired by eminent domain, the town pays the $195,000, and as the motion read by Selectman Livingston says UDAG funds, that's the Urban Development Action Grant Fund that the town has. That grant fund has recycled funds in it, and also is an interest-bearing account. There's approximately $1.5 million in there as the balance. So that's where the funding would come from. Next slide. So the project history, just quickly, as I mentioned, this goes back to October of 2012. We got the $3.2 million FTA grant right there. The town of Ayer, that fall, through the Board of Selectmen, authorized you have to have a local match of approximately $800,000 to the $3.2 million. Town of Ayer, Board of Selectmen authorized $260,000 from the UDAG. The MART Advisory Board, the Montechusett Area Regional Transit Authority, voted to authorize $250,000. And then through the town's Economic Development Department, we received a Mass Works infrastructure grant from the state for $250,000. And there you have the total at $3.9 million. What's key for everybody to know, it has been reported through this process, the Board of Selectmen, myself, as authorized by them, have spent the last 3 years trying to negotiate a solution to this with the property owner and the MBTA. In that process, we have the timeline here just to highlight some key points. From April through October, we began negotiations with MART and the MBTA, originally on the access property. From December of 14 to March of 15, we continued to meet and negotiate with this. The challenge is, whether it was the MBTA or whether it was the private property owners, we could not come to a specific agreement that would meet the FTA requirements. This has gone on for 3 years. In those 3 years, as mentioned by Selectman Livingston and the board, we've lost 3 construction cycles. But what is of most importance, because this earmark has sat there long for quite some time, the $3.2 million, the FTA has formally advised the town, also through MART, that if we do not access the grant funds, we are in jeopardy of losing those funds because it has been so long that Congress is beginning to look to call back all federal earmarks that have not been expended. Many of you have followed the process, but in March It was further compounded by a lawsuit that was filed against the MBTA by the private property owner, which had to do with covenants and easements on that property. With the filing of that lawsuit, which is anybody's right, from the town side, it did complicate, to some extent, the negotiations. In December of 15, many of you came to the Ayer Board of Selectmen's December 3rd, 2015 meeting and spoke under public input and request that the board proceed with eminent domain. The Board of Selectmen did take you very seriously, as they did meet to negotiate with the property owner in good faith, next slide, to acquire that access property that we're talking about. In order to do that, a tri-party agreement had to be put together between the town, the MBTA, and the private property owner. As has been publicly released, the selectmen did offer $125,000 for the access property, but the issue became, between the private property owner and the MBTA, issues in the tri-party agreement having to do with fencing covenants and easements and coming to an agreement on the exact language. And the town, with the parties, worked basically from December till April 1st to try to come to an agreement. In March 29th, the Board of Selectmen did sign the purchase and sale agreement and the tri-party agreement for that property, but unfortunately we could not get the private property owners and the MBTA to agree on specific language. So as you can see with this theme, the project just did not move forward. And on April 1st, the MBTA and the private property owner could not come to agreement on the issue of the fencing covenants and the easements. And then, as Selectman Livingston mentioned at the April 5th, 2016 Board of Selectmen meeting, after 3 years of good faith efforts, the loss of 3 construction seasons, and the threat of losing a $4 million transportation investment project in the town, they voted to authorize, to put forth to you tonight, the consideration for authorization to take it by eminent domain. And so tonight, to conclude through the moderator, as far as the presentation, and I know there'll probably be many questions, the town has exhausted all of those options, as I mentioned. And the town has spent thousands of dollars and countless hours of time and resources to be fair to both parties to make this project become a reality. And as mentioned, we've lost 3 years and 3 construction seasons because of this standstill. Additionally, until the town owns that access property, the FTA will not authorize those grant funds, and now we're told that we are in great jeopardy of losing those grant funds if not approved. Finally, for the purpose of the debate, Mr. Moderator, many have said, about what about other locations? Over the last 20 years, we've discussed other locations. That's not an option. This is our best option, which is the acquisition of that access property. And finally, through the moderator, just for clarification, that's Article 36. Article 37, as many of you see in the warrant, includes the access property, which is that driveway, and the Advocates Building. And I know some of the selectmen will speak to this, that as many of you know, historically, there were discussion and some evidence that historically the Advocates Building was, if you will, the ticket booth and the ticket station. And this was put forward as the second, or as an additional option of acquiring also the Advocates Building for the project. Article 37, so that's the difference, is Article 37 works the same way, except it includes the Advocates Building, and as you can see at the top, the cost impact is $595,000, and the selectmen would propose that comes from the UDAG. I know we're not at 37 yet, but just to clarify.
And if one passes, the other one is pulled, right?
Correct, that's my understanding. So that, if you will, is the overview of what is proposed.
Thank you. Please state your point of order, sir.
Jeff Mays, Pleasant Street. You, as moderator, you said, as stated in the warrant, as Selectman Livingston read out, it does not match what is printed in the warrant.
You're absolutely correct. We have a ruling from town council going back 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
The actual motion is the one made by
I just wanted to make sure we
yeah,
were...
that's the actual motion. It is different than what's written in the warrant, okay, but that can be done. That's legal.
Can we actually see it, though, just
I hope they made copies.
so we actually see it?
Did anybody make copies of the motion to be handed out at town meeting?
What are you going to do, hold it up?
Hold it. Right now, as it is, if we do not have copies for all the people here, because that is vastly different what was put in the warrant, I would ask for postponement of this debate until we get such copies.
No.
No? Okay. I was just making sure you guys know what you're voting on. That's what I want to make sure, okay? Okay, is there any discussion? Mr. Maxon.
Thank you. Mr. Moderator, I've been involved with maximizing the benefits to the town of the rail trail, specifically parking, from the beginning, so it's very important to me that we get this right. I need to check on some things I believe need to be changed about the motion itself. I think in something like this, we've moved now to acquire by purchase, gift, or eminent domain, or whatever. I think the motion has to be specific as to which of those. And secondly, we've also said to require the fee or lesser interest.
Frank, can I address the first part there?
Sure.
Town council has indicated to me that no, it does not need to be there. I believe it's a way of keeping all their options open so they don't have to go to the eminent domain if they don't need to.
And then it would, the same...
so they can just buy it. If they reach an agreement with the owner, they can just buy it.
The same principle apply to the statements of fee or a lesser interest.
Yes.
It's still okay to have it.
Keeping all options on the table.
Thank you.
Attorney Casey.
Yes, Robert Casey of 92 Washington Street. I met with Mr. Berry and his counsel, and I was informed about, excuse me? Okay. I met with Mr. Berry and his counsel and was informed of a number of things. One is that there was a memorandum of agreement, actually an offer to purchase for $125,000, and this authorizes $195,000. And today I was actually handed a purchase and sale agreement signed by Mr. Berry for the $125,000. There have been a lot of problems with the negotiation, and they haven't really been with Mr. Berry, as I understand it. A lot has been with the MBTA. And Article 37 was mentioned. Article 37 contains a number of covenants that could be really poison pills in this situation. Some of the covenants include...
Attorney Casey?
Yes.
Please stick to Article 36. That's what's on the floor right now. We're not at Article 37.
It was mentioned. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, but he was only mentioning it to let us know that there's a difference between the two articles, and right now we're just only discussing Article 36.
But I'm just saying, $125,000 is the acquisition price, and we had the selectman get up and say he's willing to pay $195,000. $125,000 is a lot of savings, and under the procedure, it's very likely to be higher. In my experience, limited experience that might be with eminent domain, it's often a windfall for the property owner. There are other problems that involve this area that need to be dealt with, and I think the eminent domain is not the way to go. Therefore, I would like a motion to offer a motion to strike the eminent domain portion and just have it authorized by sale.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion on the motion to amend?
Moderator.
Mr. Sullivan.
Connie Sullivan from 79 East Main Street. I'd like some clarification where the selectmen have...
Connie, it's on the motion to amend, not on the actual motion. It's on Mr. Casey's motion to amend.
I understand, Mr. Moderator, if I can finish. Where the warrant article authorizes the selectmen to purchase the property or a lesser interest for $195,000, should they be able to negotiate a lesser price, wouldn't they be authorized to do so under the same warrant article?
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Pombriand.
Through you to Mr. Sullivan's question, the answer would be yes.
Okay.
So we're not bound by the point I'm making is, we're not bound by the $195,000 figure. We could, in fact, purchase it for the $125,000 if that's what Mr. Berry wanted to
That's
sell
what
the
Mr.
property
Pombriand
for.
just said, yes.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
I have, as I'm trying to get the mic to work, is Mr. Berry handed me a purchase and sale agreement that he did sign.
Okay, right. Mr. Casey, the question on the floor is to amend the article as you moved it.
Okay.
That's all we're discussing right now.
Okay, very good, sir.
Is there any further discussion on the motion to amend? There being none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. No. The noes have it. The motion is not amended. Now, further discussion on the motion as written in the warrant.
Mr. Moderator.
Selectman Livingston.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Pombriand.
Through you to Attorney Casey, having been involved in the negotiations, the memorandum of agreement is just that. It's a memorandum of agreement that the board signed and Mr. Berry signed on December 29th. They had a 30-day deadline for it to be resolved. The parties mutually agreed to extend it for another 30 days as we worked on this, and then another 30 days to work on this. For the record, through you, Mr. Moderator, there was no purchase and sales. The purchase and sales agreement was signed by the Board of Selectmen and the tri-party agreement, not the private property owners. It was represented on the floor by Attorney Casey that the purchase and sales agreement was signed by all parties, just the Board of Selectmen. It could not come to agreement.
Mr. Moderator, could I respond?
Mr. Casey.
I didn't say that. I said that Mr. Berry handed me a purchase and sales agreement signed by him, unsigned by the board. I know there was another signing, but what he's saying, he's willing to hand up the purchase and sales agreement for $125,000, and I've got plenty of copies for the board.
Mr. Hillman.
Mr. Moderator, just to go back in time, we had a meeting at the landowner's attorney's office back in 2015, Representative Harrington, the representatives from the MBTA, the landowner. The landowner at that time agreed to sell the access for $1 to the town. There was an agreement in place. We held a big thing at Town Hall where at one of our meetings where all the representatives came, we spoke, we were happy. The representatives' attorneys were there. The process was to move forward. The process was brought to the planning board with a completely different drawing of what was agreed upon at that meeting, with no real reason except for the fact that they wanted the planning board to pass it. Of course, it was picked up upon. Then that motion completely, and then radio silence for about a year on that. We started negotiations again, and again, it was a minimal amount that they wanted to give up. We have bent over backwards with the FTA to go to the absolute minimum to try to keep Mr. Berry happy and for the town to have their access. And again, we had this agreement. The board offered a fee. We negotiated. We had a very good meeting with Mr. Berry, his son, the attorney, right after Christmas. We thought we had an agreement in place, and at the 9th hour, they did not want to sign it because the MBTA needed time to research all the covenances over the property that date back to probably 1850. And the landowner kept adding what they wanted taken off as part of the agreement after the agreement was signed. So I just wanted to clarify that there's not $125,000 that we show up with right now and the land is ours. So I just wanted to get those facts in order.
Move the question. Second. Moved and seconded to move the question. This is a two-thirds vote. All those in favor of moving the question, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. No. I'm going to err on the side of caution this one, ask everybody to stand, just count. So I'm going to ask everybody to stand. I ask my counters to come up. You're still sworn in? I just want to make sure it's actually 2/3. Okay? All those in favor of moving the question right now, please stand and hold up your card. All those opposed to moving the question, please stand and raise your card. Oh, jeez. I'd like more. 7.
Wait,
7 total.
7?
2, 1, and 3.
Oh, 2, 1, 3, okay. So 155.
155 in favor, 7 opposed. They sounded louder than I thought. I just want to make sure on this one. The motion to move the question is agreed to. We go right now to the question as read by Selectman Livingston. All those in favor of allowing town to go by eminent domain, take the land by eminent domain, please stand. Please say aye. Please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? No. In the opinion of the moderator, that is 2/3. So I'm going to say the motion is agreed to. Article 37.
Put on the table. Table it.
Okay, it's not what I was told by your administrator. Okay.
No, we overheard it. We didn't.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we overheard it. It was worded wrong. It was, if this previous motion had failed, this motion
Oh.
would then move.
Oh. Okay, Article 37. To see if the town will vote to acquire by gift, purchase, or eminent domain by the fee or lesser interest in a certain parcel of land shown approximately on concept plan of lands of Worthingdale Realty as written in the warrant, and they're going to change it anyway. Mr. Hillman.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to acquire by gift, purchase, or eminent domain the fee or lesser interests in 5 certain parcels of land shown as parcels A, B, C, D, and E on the plan entitled Plan of Lands of Worthingdale Realty Corp. Access Corridor, Advocates Building, to be acquired by the Town of Ayer, Massachusetts, dated May 6, 2016, prepared by Prime AE, said plan on file with Town Clerk, consisting of 26,334.2, sorry, page changes, bear with me, square feet, more or less, and being portion of the properties described in the deed recorded with the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds in Book 12135, page 442, Parcel A and Parcel D, a portion of Lot 8 on Land Court Plan 15026F, Parcel B and Parcel E, and a portion of Lot 7 of Land Court Plan 15026E, Parcel C. And, as funding therefore and related thereto, to transfer from the UDAG grant account the sum of $595,000 to further I'm sorry, and further to authorize the Board of Selectmen to convey to the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority a perpetual access easement from Main Street to the rail property located on the southerly of the property to be acquired upon all or portion of parcels A, B, and C, and to authorize the Board of Selectmen to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate the acquisition of such property, in the covenants of the easement of the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority.
Conveyance.
Conveyance, I'm sorry. What do they say?
Convenience.
Oh.
It's been
That
moved
too.
and seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. Moderator?
Mr. Hillman.
I believe the 595,000 would encompass both properties as a whole, not this property as 595 and the other property as 195. So I just want to make that clear.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Yes, I'd like to offer a motion to amend Article 37 to delete the eminent domain portion, with, and I'll give specific reasons therefore if the moderator.
Is there a second? I do not hear a second, therefore the motion will not be entertained. Mr. Gleason. Oh, never mind. Speaking gentleman. Ma'am.
Elizabeth, Tennessee, Church Street.
Tennessee, go ahead.
And the question I had was, can we put forth an amendment that the park, if it passes, the parking should be paid parking, so that we can recoup the losses that those businesses...
I do not believe that would be germane to the motion as stated. This is only for the taking of the land. The maintenance of the land later on is a completely different issue.
And that is in there, ma'am.
Okay.
Your request.
Any further discussion? Mr. Casey.
Yes, just briefly. The deed that is referenced contains a number of covenants in Article 37. The covenants include a requirement that any grantee, including one taking by eminent domain, must maintain the fences, which is an expensive proposition. It also says that the grantee shall maintain a railroad station, a waiting room, a ticket office, freight handling space, access through the building, and if a building is not suitable as a railway station, the MBTA can build one, and the town is liable for the expense of building it. I think that needs to be explored and thought carefully by the citizens before eminent domain is entered into. These covenants are 100-year covenants. They last an awful long time. And they're the kind of things that generated the lawsuit that was defamed here, but was actually an attempt to remove the covenants. And I suggest that the taxpayers, it's not a wise thing to enter into a warrant like this that has open-ended obligations with covenants that drive attorneys crazy, let alone laymen, and cause much expense. Should have been negotiated with the MBTA to get rid of those and not leave it as an open-ended item that will be very costly.
Mr. Moderator?
Mr. Hillman.
Where are your bathrooms and facilities now on the site that is provided by the landowner?
If that's a question, I didn't say there was, but I'm just saying, do we really want to go to a situation where we have a requirement that the town build a railroad, have that hanging over the railroad station hanging over the town? These covenants are ancient. They're from the era of hoop skirts. They should be eliminated before the town enters into something like this.
I guess that would be the town's problem. The reason for putting this motion for the Advocates Building on is we, Robert and I and Carly, attended a meeting with representatives from both senators' office, Warren Markey, the head of the FTA, back in May of 2014, and at that point they wanted direct access to the platform, which if you know the area right now, the access that we just acquired or are going to acquire by eminent domain brings you down, and then behind this building that is currently, or will not, is not obviously ours, to a very narrow corridor. leaving the entranceway very narrow. The initial point was to have a turnaround area where you could pull in, drop off directly in front of the station, whoever you were bringing or picking up from the station. Also to provide several handicap spaces for residents close to the train station. As has been established before, there are several people that do use that. And it would make access much easier for commuters and for vehicles to access the rail station. And also I'm going to leave it at that right now. I'll come back to what else I was going to say afterwards. Thank you.
Mr. Maxon.
Mr. Moderator, I'm usually convinced that we manage our affairs better than the state manages our affairs for us at that level, but I find myself in an unfamiliar situation saying that we should follow the state's lead in this case with respect to their budgeting for the Green Line extension. They have to cut down the budget to get the maximum effect for the dollars they have. And I think we're in the same situation here. We have a budget. We have a budget in which we're going to have to live, and I think we can acquire the minimum necessary to serve the public by the previous article, that this article now under consideration is asking us to spend a lot more money than necessary to acquire benefits that are not necessary for fulfilling this project. So I would say we should vote no on this article because the prior article satisfies everything we need.
Mr. Sullivan.
Mr. Moderator, with respect to the covenants that Attorney Casey was referencing, I believe the deed had a timeline on those covenants of 100 years. And those covenants actually expire, if my memory is not correct, in the year 2050. 2050. They were 100-year covenants and they went back to 1850. They expire in about another 30-plus years.
Mr. Gleason.
Mr. Moderator, through you to whoever can answer the question, I heard in the first discussion about a 3-year term of appeal for the landowner. Based upon the history we've had here, and of course knowing no one can predict the future, what are our thoughts on being able to hold on to the grant money for 3 more years while the property owner, based on his history today, probably tries to run out the clock?
Mr. Pomprian.
Mr. Moderator, through you to Mr. Gleason. With the passage of the authorization for the access property, the Board of Selectmen will then conduct an order of taking, which is a open public meeting they will conduct. Assuming that passes, then they will register that with the Registry of Deeds, and at that point, the town of Ayer owns that property, whether it's the access property or, as the article that's being discussed now, the access property and the advocates. From that date of it being filed, the property owner or owners has up to 3 years to challenge the town on the issue of the appraisal and the value. The FTA has informed us that once it is filed with the Registry of Deeds, whether it is the access or the access and the property, once it's filed, the town of Ayer legally owns that property, it satisfies the FTA, and progress can commence on the project, including access of the grant funds. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Ms. Schultz.
I would like clarification from the first article to this one. The differences in price, where are these other parcels located? There are like 4 more parcels, and you just say Advocates Building. I just picture one parcel in my mind. I don't see really the differences. They're not. If you could show them to me somehow.
Robert, you point it out to her? Yeah.
Mr. Moderator, through you to Ms. Maxon Schultz, Article 36, which was the $195,000, is parcel A. It's this access property, okay? Article 37 is authorization for the access property and the Advocates Building. So it's that whole piece.
So the Advocates Building had all these different, like...
Correct.
I wrote them down, but, okay.
Correct.
So it's just still basically one piece of land. I see that off to the right-hand side, there's...
Correct.
That's not include...
Article 36 through the moderator, just to be,
Okay.
Article 36 was just the access property. It's that parcel A, A, B, and C. And then the second article is this advocates building piece,
Oh,
which is
okay.
500. Article 37 is 595,000 because it includes the access and the building in that property.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. I'd like to speak from the perspective of a commuter who lives in Ayer, Ellen Fitzpatrick, 801 Autumn Ridge Drive in Ayer, and moved to this town because of the access to the commuter rail. And I worked with a lot of other commuters and a group of people to try to lobby the town and the MBTA to help us get better access. It was a very erratic route in to get to the train, and at one point in April when we really started getting active, it was because there were gates locked and we couldn't get through, and we had to take this new access route down and back behind, which at that time was not paved. We have people who are coming to this location and they're disabled and they're in canes or they're blind or whatever, and there's no way to really come down and drop them off and let them get on the train, and that includes elderly people as well, because the parking is across Main Street and then down. So for the convenience and the accessibility, to make this a first class, I mean, I used to live in Acton and I parked in West Concord, and the difference of what it's like to access the rail trail there in West Concord or now in Acton or Littleton as opposed to Ayer, it is night and day. And if you want to build up your downtown and develop this town as top quality, and I think your downtown could be marvelous, you have to do something about this rail trail. I mean, I'm sorry, about the access for commuters to that train station. And I think by having this building, not only would it give you a turnaround, but it might give you a way to have some kind of a access for whether it be tickets or bathrooms or whatever. That was supposed to be in the original deed. It was there many years ago. They stopped. But I'm just saying, try to keep your eye on the picture of what you're trying to do there. It's not just have a path that comes down, though a guaranteed path that comes down and is lit and is paved is a major improvement over what, and the ice is removed from it, is a major accomplishment, and I really applaud the fact that the town has moved this far. But, you know, if you can consider going to the next level, I would definitely, as a commuter, and on behalf of all the commuters that I lobbied and sent lots of postcards to the MBTA and to the town, I hope you will think about it.
Sir?
Jim Naring, as our neighbor just eloquently explained, rail access is a signature asset of this community, and it has been going back to the 1840s. We have an extraordinary opportunity to do it right, and I recommend that we vote yes on Article 37, and I'd like to move the question.
Is there a second on moving the question? Okay, there's a two-thirds vote again. All those in favor of moving the question, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? No. The ayes have it. The motion is moved. Now we're voting on the motion as stated by Selectman Hillman. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? No. The ayes have it. It is a two-thirds vote. Okay. Article 8. Does the school committee, no? Dan, nothing? Okay. Article 8. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Mr. Moderator?
Mr. Gleason.
If town meeting...
Everybody, please. We have somebody speaking from the floor,
Town meeting is willing, on behalf of the school committee, I'd like to have Dr. Mary Malone, Superintendent of Schools, give a brief presentation of our budget.
Absolutely. Brief one, please. Thank you, thank you. Superintendent.
Good evening, Mary Malone, School Superintendent of the Ayer Shirley Regional School District. Tonight's budget is budget presentation is a brief overview. We're going to look at some highlights and trends, the budget drivers, program needs, fixed cost increases, revenue, and then the assessment to the town of Ayer. You want to move it? Most important here is our vision. I just want to bring to your attention academic excellence. Many of you have heard and seen in the media and on Facebook and on Twitter and in the paper all of the great successes that are happening in the Ayer Shirley Regional School District. You're sitting in one of them right now in this beautiful auditorium. And again, we thank the town of Ayer for voting for this new high school. We strive to reach academic excellence for each and every single student. As the school superintendent, it is my responsibility and obligation to ensure that each and every student, the 1,700 of them that enter this school district each and every day, get an excellent, high-quality education. We also want to have our students develop a strong voice to express their thoughts and ideas in the community, become productive members, and come back and be part of the town of Ayer, as you all are here tonight. Next slide. I'm going to go over briefly some of the highlights over the last school year. The Ayer Shirley Regional High School has been completed almost. We have by June 23rd it should be completed on time and under budget. The enrollment at the high school has been over 400 students for the first time in 20 years. This year, our seniors have been accepted to such universities as Norwich, Hofstra, Clark, Temple, the U.S. Military Academy, the Maine Maritime Academy, the Massachusetts Maritime Academy, Emmanuel, College of the Holy Cross, Smith, Quinnipiac, the Wentworth Institute of Technology, the Mass College of Pharmacy, Emerson, Northeastern, to name a few. In 2015, we were awarded a civil medal by the U.S. News and World Report as one of the top high schools in the U.S. and Mass. We were in the top 12% of high schools in the U.S. and top 22 in Mass. And I'm proud to let you know that for 2016, we just received the award again as a civil medal winner. So that is pretty significant. In the nation, 19,908 high schools were considered for an award, and we were at 2,199. And in the state of Massachusetts, there are 353 school districts, and 89 were selected out of those 353. So we should be very proud of that. We were removed from the warning status for community resources when this building was completed. The Ayer Shirley Regional High School was recognized by the Mass Association of Counselors as a 5-star council. Many of you have read and heard about our first robotics team. They just came back from St. Louis. They qualified this year for the World Championship. They also went to, last year in November 2015, they went to a Mass Association of School Committees, Mass Association of School Superintendents. They were the only robotics team in the state to present to all of the superintendents, 351 of them, on encouraging them to adopt a robotics program in the high school, and that our students would provide that support. Okay. We were placed on the College Board's Gaston Capitan Opportunity Honor Roll for expanding access to college. Only 130 districts in the U.S. and only 13 in Mass were recognized for this. The concert band and concert choir received silver and bronze medals respectively at the MICA competition early this spring. They just went to another competition called Music in the Parks, and the concert band and concert choir received in their class first place in an award of excellence. And one of our sophomores, Nadia Neslik, was selected as the soloist, overall soloist at this competition. 3 middle school students have been selected to enter the science fair. The district website has completely been redesigned, and I hope that you all have been and visited us. And the 4 high school students received second place in the Mass Department of Fire Service. They produced a YouTube video on burn awareness, and the Ayer Fire Department will be using that video to create awareness and safety when using outdoor barbecues and grills. These are just some of our accomplishments this year. Thought we'd name a few. Thank you. In this budget, we are continuing to strengthening the pathways for students at the high school. We want to create career pathways for students to focus and to specialize in STEM, the Mass Core, Early College, and Honors. We've continued to add AP courses at the high school, chemistry, English language and composition, computer programming, and all 9th grade students will be taking biology, which makes us more competitive with our surrounding high schools. And I'll just add that part of that recognition by the U.S. News World Report is AP courses in your high school. We're supporting the text and materials for those courses, which are quite costly. The international program at the high school, I spoke about this last year. We have 2 students registered for this coming school year. And this past week, we just hosted 15 students from China, and they had a fabulous time and really loved this high school. So congratulations to the principal and teachers and the students here. We're hiring 2 technology teachers at the Laura White and Page Hilltop. We have to add a grade 2 teacher at the Laura White. We're providing high school credit for 8th graders in math and science. Mass Core Study is a rigorous program of study, and getting high school credit before the students get to the high school gives them more opportunity in their schedules to meet that Mass Core requirement. We're working on a preschool program. We'd like to strengthen our guidance department by implementing what they call a developmental guidance, which is a curriculum in all classrooms, grades K through 12. And we have partnered with Mass Insight to increase the number of students taking AP courses and their success rate of getting at least a score of 3, which is a passing score. The pupil choice trends, school choice, when you regionalized choice out, you can see the decrease. In 2015, we had 126 students choice out, and I'm proud to say for this school year, we did not have any additional. It stayed at 126 students. The choice-in numbers are up. Students are opting to select the Ayer Shirley Regional School District as their district of choice. Charter schools. Charter school students was rapidly rising prior to regionalization, and starting in FY12, you can see that those numbers have gone down significantly. I think in FY12 it was around 104 students going to charter schools. In FY17 we're down to 71. Budget drivers. I'm going to call upon Finance Director Mr. Bill Plunkett to present this part of the presentation to you.
Thank you. Good evening. District enrollment is up. We have a FY16 to FY17 up 35 students to 1730, and a total ASRSD student population, which includes out-of-district special ed placements, is at 1,767, which is also up 35. So enrollment is up. We have the superintendent's budget. A needs-based budget from FY16, and we've listed it here for 17. These are the programs that we needed to have in for curriculum and programs. K-5 literacy, K-8 science, social studies. We wanted to look at getting an early childhood coordinator to help with the preschool, literacy coach, math coaches, technology devices 3 to 12, and also one-on-one devices for grade 9. These are things that we wanted to do that were in the superintendent's budget. And the total was $1,110,000. Next, when we were developing the budget, we had to look at fixed costs, and a couple of the big items that we had to look at were salaries. Salaries for all union and non-union. We had to budget $380,000. That allows us to do a 2% COLA and steps for all of our union employees that are on grids. Health insurance was a big increase. It's our second year in a row. Last year was 11%. This year came in at 12.8% increase, which is $340,000. Those two items alone make up over 2/3 of our fixed cost increase for FY17. We also have special education transportation, maintenance supplies that we have for the new high school being online. Also, our Middlesex pension assessment is up, and we were terribly under budgeted for homeless, McKinney-Vento transportation, and utilities. With the high school being online, we saw a significant increase in utilities and insurance for the property. And the total of that is $972,729, and the percentage is 6.1. Now, revenue increases, or net revenues from FY16 to FY17. The governor's budget allowed for an additional $20 per student for a $35,000 160 increase to Chapter 70. We had a slight decrease in regional school transportation. We also had a decrease in the charter tuition reimbursement. That's based on the new schedule that they have proposed, which phases it out over 5 years, and it's only a reimbursement on an increase of tuition. So there's a decrease there as well. School choice receiving tuition is up because our choice numbers are up. So we're up there 39,000. Total revenue increase of 35,663. Net of charges, we also have charges for school choice sending, charter sending, which the state assesses us, and we subtract those for from our revenue. Total charges was $22,342 for a net increase of $13,321 over FY16. When you divide this by the number of our students in the district, it comes to 0.1% per student. And the equation comes down to our fixed cost increase of $972,000 minus our revenue increase of $13,321. We're still looking at a differential of $959,408 increase over FY16. Budget options. Superintendent's budget is the second column, as you see, coming in at $30,635,000. It'd be an increase of $1.8 million over FY16, or 6.3% increase. Total operating assessment would be $17,771,027, and a total operating assessment increase of $1.8,737,000, 11.3%. What we're recommending is a level service budget, what comes in at $29,697,059. FY increase of $873,642, 3% increase. Total operating assessment of $16,762,989, or a $792,000, $699 increase, 4.96%. Which brings us to the assessment. The FY17 proposed operating assessment is at $16,762,989. There's an increase of $792,699, 4.96%. To Ayer, after the fifth-year phase-in, the phase-in is now complete. There is no more 20% shift to Shirley. So the assessment to Ayer would be strictly based on foundation enrollment, $10,074,800, an increase of $271,224, 2.8% increase. Shirley, who is realizing a full assessment for this year after the phase-in being complete, is at $6,688,189, an increase of $521,000, $475, or 8.5%, which was approved at the April 23rd Shirley Town meeting. Questions?
Thank you.
Okay, Article 8, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,074,800 required to fund the town's FY 2017 assessment for the Ayer Shirley Regional School District, and to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,004,944 for the town's portion of the Ayer Shirley Regional School District High School Building Project debt service, or take any action thereon in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator?
Ms. Livingston.
I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $10,074,800 to fund the town's FY 2017 assessment for the Ayer Shirley Regional School District, and the sum of $1,004,944 for the town's portion of the Ayer Shirley Regional School High School Building Project debt service, as read by the moderator.
Is it moved and seconded? Is there any discussion?
Mr. Moderator?
Ms. Livingston.
Ladies and gentlemen, take a look around you. Your money has been well spent. You have seen this wonderful presentation of the things that the kids are doing just in the past year. They are the legacy of this town. They are our future. This is, to me, the best spent money I've ever spent.
Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Article 9, fiscal year 2017 Neshoba Valley Technical Vocational School Assessment. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $731,147 required to fund the fiscal year 2017 assessment for the Neshoba Valley Regional School Technical High School, or take any action thereon in relation thereto. Mr. Luca.
Just before I make...
You can make the motion first. Make the motion first. I get it. I got it.
Nobody can hear me.
You got a big voice. Use it.
Okay. I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $731,147 required to fund the FY17 assessment for the Neshoba Valley Regional Technical High School, as read by the moderator.
Okay. Before we get to the actual discussion, I'd like to introduce the new superintendent. I'm sorry, I forget your name. I'm sorry.
This is Denise Pigeon. She took over for Dr. Klimkowitz, who was there 20 years, I believe. And Denise took over the reins, and she's following in Dr. Klimkowitz's shoes.
I do have a brief presentation. First, again, my name is Denise Pigeon, and I am new as the superintendent of Neshoba Valley Technical School District. However, I am not new to the district. I have been serving in the district for the past 11 years. The last 6 I have served as the principal, so thank you. As you know, we are your career technical option for the town of Ayer. We offer career and technical programming, 20 technical programs in all. We also offer a full academic program. When students graduate from Neshoba Valley Technical High School, they graduate with an academic diploma as well as a technical certificate. In addition, they graduate with many industry, state, and oftentimes national certifications as well. We also have post-secondary articulation agreements in many of our technical programs, so when they graduate, they have already earned college credit. Just some basic facts about Neshoba. We are very proud that we have a very high attendance rate, which, as you know, is very important to employers. We also continue to have below the state average of a dropout rate. We continue to be a level 1 school district. We're very proud of that. We also do offer academic programming at the honors and advanced placement levels as well. We are also the only technical school to offer a theater arts program, a dance program, arts as well. And we've just recently added a veterinary assisting program, the only one in Middlesex County. And we also have this, we're given the 2nd highest bond rating. Just a basic year in review. We did add a biotechnology program, which over the course of a couple of years, we did receive 2 life science grants to help with this. We've also implemented a one-to-one Chromebook initiative. We renovated a building that was on our property with the students in our construction programs to add a dance and art studio. We have also renovated our greenhouse and added a farm-to-table initiative in our culinary arts program. We are very excited to have a partnership with MSPCA Angel, and that has assisted in building the veterinary clinic that we have added on our campus. And we continue to partner with 2- and 4-year colleges to offer all sorts of articulations between those programs. We're also working on concurrent enrollment programs in our technical areas as well. Here are some photos regarding our partnership with Angel. We're very proud of this. The clinic opened this year. We are also very pleased to inform you that we recently received a $500,000 grant, a Massachusetts Workforce Skills Capital Grant. This grant will help us completely refurnish our advanced manufacturing program. We are actually in the process of implementing this as we speak. It is the largest competitive grant award that Neshoba Tech has ever received. The next few slides are a brief overview of our budget. The first is the breakdown of our budget by function code. Overall, our budget is a 3.5% increase. The majority of the increases in spending are regarding fixed costs, insurance, step and lane raises. It's important to note that the increase to Ayer is not 3.5%, it's actually 0.036% increase, which I will get to when we review the assessment. We feel that it's very important to break down our capital plan over a 5-year and a 10-year period. For next school year, we are actually looking at renovating some curbing in our parking areas that is in disrepair and does need some work. We are also looking to repaint some structural steel on the outside of the building. We also are looking to, fix some of the flooring in different areas of the building. There's different areas throughout that need repair. This next slide is just a breakdown of our FY17 financial plan. It shows you our revenues and where the different funding will come from. And lastly, this is a slide that shows you the breakdown of the assessment. In Ayer, the total assessment, as was read in the warrant article, is $731,147, which again is a 0.036% increase from last year. And that concludes the presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion on the motion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Okay. Article 9 passes. Okay, enterprise fund articles. Article 10, solid waste, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds the following funds to operate the solid waste department. Direct cost of $399,717, of which $231,000 is to come from solid waste revenue, $33,881 is to come from solid waste retained earnings, and $134,836 is to come from the tax levy, and indirect costs of $108,732 to come from the tax levy, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator?
Mr. Hillman.
I move that the town vote to appropriate $399,717 for direct costs, of which $231,000 is to come from the solid waste revenue, $33,881 from solids waste retained earnings, and $134,836 from the tax levy, and indirect costs of $108,732 from the tax levy as outlined by the moderator.
Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say yes. Aye. Aye. Opposed? Article 10 passes. Article 11, ambulance, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds the following funds to operate the ambulance department. Direct cost of $126,034 is to come from the ambulance revenue, and indirect cost of $339,133, of which $316,214 is to come from ambulance revenue, and $22,919 is to come from ambulance retained earnings, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator?
Ms. Livingston.
I move that the town vote to appropriate $126,034 for direct costs from ambulance revenue and appropriate $339,133 for indirect costs, of which $316,214 is to come from ambulance revenue and $22,919 from ambulance retained earnings to operate the ambulance department, as read by the moderator.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Article passes. Article 12, sewer. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds the following funds to operate the sewer department. Direct cost of $2,446,209, of which $2,422,440 is to come from sewer revenue, and $23,769 from the tax levy, and indirect costs of $327,647 to come from sewer revenue, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator,
Mr. Luca.
I move that the town vote to appropriate $2,446,209 for direct cost, of which $2,422,440 is to come from the sewer revenue and $23,769 to come from the tax levy, and indirect costs of $327,647 to come from the sewer revenue to operate the sewer department.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion, Article 12 is passed. Article 13, water. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate or transfer from available funds the following funds to operate the water department. Direct cost of $1,605,935 to come from water revenue, and indirect costs of $264,184 to come from water revenue, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Hillman.
I move that the town vote to appropriate the sum of $1,605,935 for direct costs and the sum of $264,184 for indirect costs, which is to come from the water revenue to operate the water department.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Article 13 is passed. Articles 14 through 19 going to be moved to take by general consent. I'll move them all together. They're the revolving fund accounts. Article 14, communications, to see if the town will vote. Mr. Rich, do we need to have a motion before we start this, before I start reading, to move them by mutual consent? I just want to be clear on this, on the procedures here with this.
Ms. Moderator, you could ask for unanimous consent and recognize it on your own without a motion.
Thank you very much. I'm asking for unanimous consent that we move Articles 14 through 19 and one vote. Is there any objection? Thank you. Article 14, communication funds. To see if the town will vote to reauthorize the revolving fund pursuant to General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, for the purpose of supporting the town website printing and mailing of various newsletters and townwide information mailings from the Communications Committee, as written in the warrant for the rest of the article. Fire alarm fund. To see if the town will vote to reauthorize a revolving fund pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53 and a half, for the purpose of fire alarm repairs and replacement. Receipts to be credited to the account shall be fire alarm assessment fees and fines for needless and false fire alarms, as written in the warrant. Hazardous Materials Fund, to see if the town will vote to reauthorize a revolving fund pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 44, 53 and a half, for the purpose of hazardous materials expense, as the rest as written in the warrant. Article 17, 4th of July Fund, to see if the town will vote to authorize a revolving fund pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half, for the purpose of a 4th of July revolving fund. The rest is written in the warrant. Article 18, DPW Inspection Fees Fund, to see if the town will vote to reauthorize a revolving fund pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53 and a half, for the purpose of a Department of Public Works Inspection Revolving Fund, as written in the warrant. Article 19, Town Hall Maintenance Fund, to see if the town will vote to reauthorize a revolving fund pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53 and a half, for the purpose of a Town Hall Maintenance Fund. The rest as written in the warrant. Do I hear a motion? It's been moved. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Articles 14 through 19 are passed. Article 20, the borough article. And this requires a two-thirds vote. To see if the town will vote to authorize the treasurer with the approval of the Board of Selectmen to borrow the sums set out in the warrant hereby listed for the purpose of funding the following equipment, services, and public works project as contained in the capital budget. Each hereafter to be voted on separately or take any action thereon in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator?
Mrs. Livingston.
I move that the town vote to authorize the borrowing of the total sum of $2,639,000 for the purposes of funding the equipment, services, and projects as contained in the article as read by the moderator.
Okay, so moved and seconded. But we have to vote on these individually. And it requires two-thirds vote each time. So I'll read it off, and if there's any discussion on that one item, if there's none, we'll put it to a vote. Okay? Fire Department. Ladder 1 rehab, $248,000. Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? It's unanimous, therefore it is two-thirds. Passes. Fire Department radio equipment, $140,000. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Unanimous, therefore two-thirds. Police Department roof, $240,000. Any discussion? Ms. Naring.
I thought the fire station roof was fairly new, so I just wanted to know what's going on.
It's the police station.
Police station, sorry, police station. It's not that old. So why does it need this big repair?
Mr. Pomprian.
Mr. Moderator, through you to Ms. Neering, the request is for $240,000 is to replace the roof of the police station, which was constructed in 1997. It's been almost 20 years, and the roof is in need of repair, and it is out to bid as we speak. The request for $240,000 would be the maximum amount. It's going through a competitive RFP process, so we hope that it will come in lower.
Is there any further discussion on police station roof? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous, therefore two-thirds are there. DPW administration, DPW Operations Center study, $75,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Therefore it's unanimous, therefore it's two-thirds. DPW Highway, East Main Street design, final phase, $135,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous, therefore it is two-thirds. DPW Highway, tractor with snow blower and mower, $150,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous, therefore it is two-thirds. DPW stormwater, biofiltration outfall improvements, $50,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous, therefore it is two-thirds. DPW stormwater bulge pond dam repairs, $131,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? It is unanimous, therefore it is two-thirds. Spec pond well number 2 replacement, $100,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? It is unanimous, therefore two-thirds. Spectacle Pond well SCADA upgrades, $50,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? It is unanimous, therefore it is two-thirds. Wright Road water main loop, $275,000. Any discussion? There's no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed? It is unanimous, therefore it is two-thirds. Passed. Water main replacements, $150,000. Any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous, therefore it is two-thirds and passes. Infiltration, inflow, study and improvements, sewer enterprise for $50,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? There's none, so it's unanimous, therefore it is two-thirds. Radio telemetry system, phase 2 and final, $30,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous, therefore it is 2/3. West Main Street Pump Station, $550,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous, therefore it is 2/3. And it's passed. 1-ton utility body truck with plows, $65,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? It is unanimous, therefore it is 2/3. Wastewater treatment plan upgrades, $200,000. Phase 2 of the study on that one, $200,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? It is unanimous, therefore it is 2/3, and the entire motion is passed. Okay. Transfer articles. Article 21, capital budget request, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the following sums hereby listed for the purpose of funding the following equipment, services, and public works projects as contained in the capital budget. Each sum hereafter to be voted on separately or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Luca.
Move that the town vote to transfer the amount of $110,200 from free cash for the purpose of funding the equipment, services, and projects as contained in the article as read by the moderator.
Okay. Okay, so moved and seconded. I'm going to follow the same procedure we used as the previous article. I'll go each one and vote on it separately. Copiers for Council on Aging and Fire Department, $12,200. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's passed. Fire prevention, car and radio, $38,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? There's none, it's passed. Replace HVAC control system for the library, $25,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? It is passed. Superintendent vehicle for DPW administration, $35,000. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? The entire article is passed. Article 22, UDAG replenishments. To see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the following amounts to replenish the Urban Development Action Grant account. Planning Board Administrative Support, $5,000. Purchase of additional fire station land, 0 Park Street, $250,000. Engineering services for West Main Street and Shirley Street Bridge, $100,000, for a total of $355,000. Or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator?
Mr. Hillman.
I move that.
I move that the town vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $355,000 for the purposes of replenishing the Urban Development Action Grant, UDAG, account as contained in the article and read by the moderator.
Seconded.
Okay, so moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Moderator?
Mr. Quigley.
On the $250,000 that we're putting back in the UDAG, I understand that it was approved last fall at a town meeting to pay for a right-of-way that goes basically, I guess, under the fire department that we now own. And, you know, you got to pay for that. I don't understand, maybe I'm wrong, but I'd like to have town council explain why their liability insurance doesn't cover that. It's not, we didn't make the mistake, somebody made a mistake, if that in fact is true. If I'm wrong, I'd be happy to hear that, by the way.
Mr. Pontbriand.
Mr. Moderator, through you to the gentleman, just to clarify, the $250,000 was to purchase actual real estate land adjacent to the fire station known as 0 Park Street, so it was land, and the reason that the land was purchased was to resolve an easement issue that went through the right-of-way of the driveway for flood remediation for the fire station and the 0 Park Street parking land along Park Street. So the purpose of the purchase by the Board of Selectmen was, one of the benefits was resolving that easement, but the $250,000 was the price for the real estate.
I understand the price of the real estate, but are you telling me that we took property that we didn't own, built the building on it, and the adjacent property that we needed for parking, et cetera, and we didn't have the right to own it. Tell me that.
Through the moderator to the gentleman, when the fire station was built and that land was acquired, the land was legally acquired, but there was a right of an easement, a right-of-way.
That's a right-of-way. Why, excuse me, you can't just build over a right-of-way without owning the right-of-way. You get clear title or you don't. Insurance attorneys, if everybody here have a mortgage, you pay title insurance, that's what they pay for.
Mr. Moderator?
Mr. Luca.
I don't know if,
It's 250.
if Chief could explain. I mean, I wasn't in town back then, but from what I understand, there was an easement to the right of the fire station that was moved to the left of the fire station at the time the station was built.
Mr. Swanfeld.
We're just discussing replenishing the UDAG funds, not exactly what we paid for the property.
I'm not talking about the property. I'm talking about the mistake that was made in buying the property that we should have known about in the first place.
Okay, hold it. One person. Okay.
I'd like to hear from our council. We got town council. Can they explain that to me, how they missed that? Thank you. Thanks, so.
I'm going to ask Chief Pedraza. Dan, actually, on your thing, I think this is connected enough. I mean, it's coming, the town's paying for money that we borrowed from UDAG.
We're replacing the funds. We're not discussing what part of the easements was settled.
I'm discussing it, and I have a right to discuss it. I want to know what our council said when we bought the property. Was it clear title?
Mr. Rich, the question being directed directly at you. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. The gentleman, Mr. Moderator, through you to the meeting, this issue was, we were aware of this issue, aware of the existence of this easement, and so there were actions taken to address this easement. There was additional cost to extinguish the easement, and this is simply the funds to replenish the UDAG that was used to purchase this easement. It was a known part of the process, and it was undertaken as part of the process for acquisition of this property.
Chief Pedraza.
I'd just like to state for the record that that easement was known. There was full agreement with the property owners that it would be moved after the station was built, which was done the following town meeting.
Mr. Sullivan.
Connie Sullivan. Can, perhaps to the town accountant, can we find out what the balance of UDAG will be after, assuming that this article passes?
Lisa, can you tell us that?
Just over $1.5 million in there now, so it'll still be over, and that doesn't include all the funds, it doesn't include IDFA funds. So it will be about $1 million.
After you put these in, it's going to be $1 million?
Oh, I'm sorry. Put these in, offset by the previous, the $595 that was spent. So we'll be, I'm having technical difficulties.
So it'll be about $1 million, it sounds like?
Approximately $1 million. Over $1 million.
And I would certainly be in favor of this motion. That UDAG fund is a perpetual fund. Historically, it's generated about $50,000 in interest, and it's one of the few funds where we can actually have a fund that generates interest for the benefit of the town. So certainly would be all in favor of this, and commend the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee for recommending it to town meeting.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Then, being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? It passes unanimous. Okay. Article 23, Stabilization Fund. To see the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $638,876 or other sum or sums of money with $138,876 to be credited to the Stabilization Fund under the provisions of Chapter 40, Section 5B of the General Laws, and $500,000 to be credited to the Capital Stabilization Fund per the town's financial policies, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto. Ms. Livingston.
Mr. Moderator, I move that the town vote to transfer from free cash the amount of $638,876 with $138,876 to be credited to the stabilization fund and $500,000 to be credited to the capital stabilization fund.
It's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? There being none, all...
Mr. Moderator, I need to amend this article.
Of course, okay.
Previous article changes. And move that the town vote to transfer from free cash the amount of $616,512 with $116,512 to be credited to the stabilization fund and $500,000 to be credited capital stabilization.
Okay, it's been made a motion. Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Now we'll now vote on the motion, the article as amended. Any discussion on the motion, on the article as amended? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Article passes.
Mr. Moderator, you could announce that that's unanimous vote?
It is unanimous vote, yes. Yes. Master plan update. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $34,135 and to transfer from free cash $65,865, totaling the sum of $100,000 to update the town's master plan or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Luca.
Move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $34,135 and transfer the sum of $65,865 from free cash for a total of $100,000 for the purpose of updating the town's master plan.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
Any discussion? Mr. Maxon.
I'm curious to know whether my impression is correct that the bulk of this funds is for a consultant.
What?
Mr. Luca, he wants to know if the funds, bulk of these funds are for a consultant.
For a consultant.
Is what he said.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, got your answer. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. I hear one no, and the motion is passed. It's a simple majority needed. Okay. Article 25, GASB 45, OPEB for Post-Employment Benefits Fund. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate $120,000 and transfer $180,000 from free cash, totaling a sum of $300,000 to meet the town's obligations under Government Accounting Standards Board, GASB, Statement 45, to fund the town's future obligation for the cost of other post-employment benefits, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Hillman.
I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate $120,000 and transfer $180,000 from free cash for a total of $300,000 to meet the town's obligations under the government. Again, let me change the page.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Hold on, not done. Accounting Standards Board, GASB's Statement 45 for the purposes of funding the town's future obligation for the cost of post-employment benefits, OPEB.
Is there a second there? Okay, now it's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Article 26, Arbitrage Rebate Compliance Service. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 for Arbitrage Rebate Compliance Service or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator.
Ms. Livingston.
I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 for the purposes of the arbitrage rebate compliance services.
Is there a second? Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Article passes. Okay, Article 27, Payroll Accrual Consulting Services. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 to provide funds for payroll accruals consulting services or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Luca.
I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $5,000 to provide funds for payroll accrual consulting services.
Is there a second? Second. It's moved and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. One no. Every else said aye. It's a simple majority. The motion is passed. Funding for Air Cultural Council. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $4,600 to provide funding for the Air Cultural Council, ACC, to be used as matching funds allocated from the Massachusetts Cultural Council for the purposes of financial support or local artistic and cultural exhibitions, performances, and events that benefit Air residents, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Hillman.
I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $4,600 to provide funding for the Air Cultural Council to be used as matching funds allocated from the Massachusetts Cultural Council for the purposes of financial support for local artistic and cultural exhibitions, performances, and events.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Ms. Naring.
No. Mr. Moderator, I'd like to speak in favor of this. I am on the Air Cultural Council, so I'm obviously biased. But we review many applicants, and we can only fund about half of them. This matches the money that the state gives us. I've also been a benefactor in providing nature programs to this particular program myself in the past few years, and provided programs for the children at the Air school system. And it's a wonderful bonus for our town as we grow.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Article 29, first year's interest general fund borrowing. To see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $93,520 required to provide the first year's interest charges and associated administrative charges of all general fund borrowing / bonding authorized by this town meeting, or to take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator,
Ms. Livingston.
I move that the town vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $93,520 required to provide for the first year's interest charges, associated administrative expenses on all general fund borrowing, bonding authorized by this town meeting.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Article passes. Article 30, East Main Street area water mains. To see if the town will vote to amend the purpose of Article 21 of the May 12, 2014 annual town meeting, which addressed East Main Street water mains, to address East Main Street area water mains, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Luca.
I move that the town vote to amend the purposes of Article 21 of the May 12, 2014 annual town meeting, which addressed East Main Street water mains, to address East Main Street area mains.
Seconded.
So moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Mr. Gleason.
Just have a brief question. Was this broaden the cost of what was voted previously, and if so, by how much?
How cost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't believe
if
so,
we're bringing the
but-
scope of the project, it's going to cost more.
Yeah.
Superintendent.
Oh, you're going up there?
I got one.
Thank you. The project's been bid, and we're funding it through a U.S. Rural Development loan grant. And the way that works is you get a 75% loan, and once that's paid off, then you get a 25% grant. Project's under budget, but if we want to use up the full grant amount, we need to spend up to the full amount. So we have maybe between $100,000 and $200,000 of grant money that will be available. So depending on contingencies during construction, then we could add on some side streets. So we may end up doing part of Fletcher Street or Pine Street or Church Street. If anyone saw the pipe that we dug up that's in our construction updates, Church Street's at the top of my list right now because the pipe was pretty dirty. But so it's not going to add any cost. It means we'll get some free improvements, basically.
Any further discussion? Okay. There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Article passes. Article 31, East Main Street area sewer mains. To see if the town will vote to amend the purpose of Article 22 of the May 12, 2014 annual town meeting, which addressed East Main Street sewer mains, to address East Main Street area sewer mains, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Hillman.
I move that the town vote to amend the purposes of Article 22 of the May 12, 2014 annual town meeting, which addressed East Main Street sewer mains, to address East Main Street area mains.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Article 32, Community Preservation Act, as written in the warrant.
Mr. Moderator.
Ms. Livingston.
I move that the town vote to appropriate the estimated FY 2017 Community Preservation Funds as moved by the moderator and approved by the Community Preservation Committee.
Is there a second? Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Article passes. Article 33, Community Preservation Fund FY 2017 Transfer of Funds. To see if the town will vote to transfer from Community Preservation Fund FY 2017 estimated annual revenues, a sum of $12,000, and reserve said sum for future appropriation by the Community Preservation Committee for general open space purposes, or take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Luca.
I move that the town vote to transfer the sum of $12,000 from the Community Preservation Fund FY 2017 estimated annual revenues and reserves, said sum for future appropriations as recommended by the Community Preservation Committee for general open space purposes.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Article is passed. Article 34, Sandy Pond School Association Conditions Assessment Funding Project. To see if the town will vote to transfer from the Community Preservation Fund FY 2017 balance reserve of historic resources category the sum of money not to exceed $20,000 to the Sandy Pond School Association for the commissioning of a conditions assessment of the Sandy Pond School building to identify recommended physical repairs and restoration work, develop an ongoing maintenance program, establish priorities for this work, and to provide cost estimates, or to take any action thereon or in relation thereto.
Mr. Moderator.
Mr. Hillman.
I move that the town vote to transfer the sum of $20,000 from the Community Preservation Fund FY 2017 balance reserve for historic resources to the Sandy Pond Schoolhouse Association for the commissioning of the conditions assessment of the Sandy Pond School building to identify recommended physical repairs and restoration work, developing an ongoing maintenance program, and establish priorities for this work and provide cost estimates as recommended by the Community Preservation Committee.
It's moved and seconded. Any discussion on the matter? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Article passes. Article 35, authorization of extension of town water and sewer mains. To see if the town will authorize the extension of the town water and sewer lines on Harvard Road to a parcel of land primarily located in Harvard, tax parcel 2-8, with a portion in Ayer, tax parcel 42-1, with a street address of 356 Ayer Road.
Mr. Moderator.
Ms. Livingston.
I move that the town vote to authorize the extension of the town water and sewer lines on Harvard Road to a parcel of land primarily located in Harvard, tax parcel 2-8, with a portion in Ayer, tax parcel 42-1, with the street address of 356 Ayer Road.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Mr. Curran.
How much do we know about the developer's plans for that, I guess, 19 acres?
Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Based on the letter from the engineer, what the developer is proposing, approximately 72 unit development, which would be, let's see how many, 24 would be one bedroom and 48 would be two bedroom units.
So it's an apartment complex, I guess, is single-family homes or town?
It's apartments or townhouses.
All right, and where exactly is 356?
Let's see.
How far?
Can we put the map up? It's right across the town line, just up past, so you can see where the star is on the plan is where the end of our water and sewer is. Just above that is the Rotary and Wendy's, and then if you head down Harvard Road, which then turns into Ayer Road in Harvard, it's that blue parcel. And there is a small sliver of it that is landlocked that's actually in Ayer. One thing I should point out is that this is a requirement of the town bylaws to get town meeting approval. The next step would be to execute an intermunicipal agreement with the town of Harvard to provide the water and sewer services. And the conditions of that haven't been set, but that would establish who's doing what the responsibilities are, and who's paying for what. What I would anticipate is the developer would pay all the costs to connect to our system, so he would put in the water and sewer lines, he would put in any pumping stations that are required, pay all connection fees, and also we have an infiltration fee. So the revenue from this could be between $150,000 and $300,000 just from the connection.
And once the connection is established, if the developer changes their plans for whatever reason or decides not to go for, I guess my question is, how much control does the town of Ayer have after we agree to a connection over the rest of the project, if any?
We can be very specific on what we will serve in the project. So we can say it is going to be this many units on this parcel. So one thing that I was concerned about, if you look past that blue part, there's, I forget the name of the road, but you can see there's another subdivision, and there's also a lot of apple orchards or undeveloped property. So we want to be careful not just to allow it to keep extending into Harvard and affecting the service to the residents in the town of Harvard. So the intermunicipal agreement would be specific as to what we're serving and how they can expand that and what the approval requirements are.
Any further discussion?
The gossip that I had heard, this is to satisfy, it's low-income housing to satisfy Harvard's low-income housing requirements. Is that the case? You said there's so many one-bedroom and so many, so is this for low-income housing, basically?
I haven't heard specifically what it is. It's just said 72 units is which we use to calculate what the capacity would be.
So 72 units of those, how many were going to be one-bedroom and how many?
It said 24 would be one bedroom and 48 would be two bedroom.
And that's, okay, all right.
Mr. Sullivan.
Mr. Moderator, just mimicking Mrs. Schultz's comments, I mean, but for the fact that the affordable housing project was being put on the Ayer border, Harvard would probably never build one otherwise.
That's a sure bet.
I have no problem receiving revenue for extending a sewer line to a single-family home development, but to put a 40B right on our town line, I think is typical of Harvard, and I would recommend that we vote against the article.
Okay, any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor, 1 second, let me just double check one thing here. Simple majority needed on this one. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. No. The noes have it. It is not agreed to. Mr. Swanfeld, I hear a motion to adjourn. Is it seconded? Seconded. It is seconded. There's a non-debatable motion. All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. We are adjourned.